If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are. I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Reese is here. Cole is here. Loaded up. My gosh, what a Monday in the sports world last night. Reflect on all of that over the next 3. Obviously, heavy NFL today. Check in on the Bengals and the Browns, both going in opposite directions that I'm not sure anybody could have forecasted a week ago at this time after the game they played against each other. We will blitz the NFL at 10 o'clock. Your Real Truth hits you. We will blitz the NFL at 11. Your Real Truth hits you at 10 o'clock. Dom at 10:30 on a little Tuesday with Tiberi and Nate Davis, USA Today, joining us at 11:30. I am currently coaching. Let's start here because I think it's all going to apply to the bigger picture stuff here. I'm currently coaching 3rd and 5th grade basketball. Now, the 5th grade team that I've had all the way through, and my buddy's now the head coach of that, and I'm assisting. I had him as 3rd and 4th graders, and so we developed habits of the ways that we practice and ways we go about our business, and they understand the 3 rules of Coach Bo, which are listen, eye contact when coaches are talking. Number 2 is simply try your best. Give your best no matter what. And number 3 is have fun. And if you do the first 2, the third one kind of comes along for the ride because typically that means you win and you don't get yelled at and you don't have to run and all of those things. So that usually kind of all connects. My thirds, we're 3 weeks in. This is Bootsy's team. We got some squirrely kids, really squirrely kids. And the first practice, I was like, man, I'm not sure if we can get these colts broken, as it were. Last night we go into practice, and we always do a little huddle at the start of practice. And I blow the whistle, and we don't ever walk, so they have to run. So they run to the middle, and then we have a little chat, and a couple of kids were walking. And one of the kids who was a little bit dicey early on, I said, well, I blew the whistle. I said, I go, get on the line. And I said, why do you think we got to get on the line? And the kid who was dicey early said, because we didn't run, Coach Bo. And I said, exactly right. So they get on the line and they run and they get it done. And the rest of the practice, they ran. So this is 3rd grade, right? And this is teaching, I hope, accountability. It's teaching a responsibility to your teammates, and it's hopefully building character and all of those things. And usually what happens with this, as I found through all of these years of coaching, is that if you build the accountability, you build the responsibility, they'll follow you anywhere because they're having the time of their lives. Because nobody wants to run, and no one likes getting in trouble. And I was thinking about that with where we stand, and it doesn't matter if you're coaching 3rd or 5th graders, or you're coaching Ohio State and Penn State, or hell, if you're coaching the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you are in charge of an operation, it is really critical that you're honest to yourself and that you're genuine. And when you try to be something that you're not, it comes across phony pretty quickly, and people are pretty smart. 3rd graders can see through it. So for sure, 18 to 22-year-olds, if you're coaching in college, and grown-ass men can see through it in the NBA and NHL. It's pretty transparent. So you have to build that trust and accountability and all of those things. And you think about this game in Happy Valley on Saturday, and you think about how long it's been since James Franklin had a win like this. And you think about the program that he's building, and he's been on the cusp, and you think about the personality that he's building in that program, with it being known that he doesn't want to play Ohio State and Michigan every year, that they are very, very comfortable just getting to the postseason. Hey, wait, there's a 12-team playoff? We can get in a 12-team playoff? Okay, that's good enough for us. We haven't done that in a while. We'll take a 12-team playoff. They have a very different standard. And I think that standard is reflected in what you get from him on the field. 1-6 versus top 10 teams at home. 6-9 versus ranked teams at home. 1-8 versus top 5 teams. 1-9 versus the Buckeyes. Those are James Franklin's stats. We'll have Rich Scarcella on later this week. We'll probably have Dave Jones too. And I'll ask both of them. They've been around the programs a long time. Is everybody at Penn State good with this? And the reaction is usually, yeah, I think for the most part they are. For the most part they are. They do not have the standard of expectations that we have here. And that gets us to Coach Day, and that gets us to a real inflection point of this season in Ohio State football. And you think about what you hope this team has. And Tyvis and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and Bob talked about it this morning in terms of are there enough follow me to freedom guys? Are there people who will grab people by the throat and hold accountable? Some of that's on coaching. Clearly, you have to be able to be somebody that guys want to follow. I don't think that that's the problem. So then you have to cultivate guys who are kind of in your image underneath. And you think about the standard here, and you think about what is expected here. It was a standard that goes back 100 years. It was certainly a standard that Woody Hayes took to the absolute. Certainly Jim Tressel took to the absolute, and Urban took to the absolute. So Ryan is following in the most difficult of footsteps. And he is at an inflection point as a coach where he has gone all in with his personality, his hires, everything. They're his guys. These are his kids. He's recruited all of them. He signed them in the portal. And now it is their job to live up to the standard that he set. It's their job to hold each other accountable. It goes back to the third grader last night. Why are we running? Because we walked, Coach Bo. And then they did it. And that's the job. That's the job. It doesn't matter. Third grade, coaching the number 4 team in the country, headed to Happy Valley on Saturday. Is there a personal accountability amongst the players at Ohio State to do what is required, to play to the standard? You think about what's happening in the 2 winter professional sports that we pay attention to, the Cleveland Cavaliers. You think coaching doesn't matter in the NBA? They're 4-0. They're a ball to watch. They went to Madison Square Garden where they never win, and they handled the Knicks. And it's early, right? It's early, but they handled it, and it looks different. You think coaching doesn't matter in the NHL? Did you see what the Blue Jackets did last night to Edmonton? You think what they did the last time they were at home against Toronto? 6 goals against Edmonton. I know McDavid goes out early, but you still bury 6 goals. And you can just tell, even if you're someone who doesn't watch hockey all the time, you can just tell the way they're going about their business. There's an accountability and there's a give a damn that the Cavaliers players are giving to Kenny Atkinson and the Blue Jacket players are giving to Dean Evison that we didn't see a year ago. We didn't. And to bring it back to Coach Day, that's what we need to see on Saturday, because here there is a standard, and Coach Day is going to demand it out of them. The guys on that staff are going to demand it on them, and it's up to them to answer that bell. At Penn State, they're not held to that standard. They're not. They lose a close game over there, they're not going to want to run James Franklin. That's not the mentality. It's entirely different. So the teams that they've gotten under Franklin are the teams, quite frankly, that they deserve. They deserve to be where they are as a program because that's what they demand. And it's interesting because we are in an age where so often you'll hear, what difference does coaching make? Makes all the difference. Makes all the difference, guys.
I was saying that last night in the second half between the Cavs and the Knicks. Like, Cleveland couldn't get an offensive board to save their lives. And they go into the breakdown. And I go, I don't know about this, because then you have the third quarter, which was the Cavs' Achilles heel all last season, and they were able to pull away thanks to a Herculean performance from Darius Garland. But I'm not sure a J.B. Bickerstaff team wins that game last night. But a Kenny Atkinson team did. A Kenny Atkinson team's 4-0, and there is a noticeable difference in how this team is playing. There's a noticeable difference in who is taking ownership. They've got a different high score in all 4 of their wins. They're having Garland understand his role as a third, maybe fourth option. But when he's needed, he's the guy. Like, they have such a better understanding, and I think that is a testament to Atkinson and the job that he's done with this team. I can say the exact same thing about the Blue Jackets, who it feels like they have guys. The chaos that's been caused has provided guys opportunity. I think it was Mikhail Pitya. I'm going to botch that name every time I say it, but Jody Shelley called him out yesterday and said he had his first shot on goal, and he had his first goal last night in the third period. Like, you're getting effort from guys that you didn't expect. You're getting leadership from guys who were brought in to have that leadership. And it also, I'm even watching Steelers highlights on my television, and I know Cole doesn't want to hear too much about this, but that's leadership. That's from the top down. It's established by a head guy. And all 3 I mentioned, and even the Mike Tomlin that I can't stand, it shows itself on the field.
Yes, the teams play to the standard that the coaches set. They just do. This Blue Jacket team is less talented than last year's Blue Jackets team. Tragically, this Blue Jacket team does not have Johnny Gaudreau. It does not have Patrick Laine. Those guys are more talented than some of the guys who are playing now. They don't have Kent Johnson right now, and they hung up 6 on Edmonton. They put 6 on Toronto.
Even without McDavid, they have no business beating the Oilers
6-1. They have no business beating Toronto 6-2 last week. But they come out at puck drop on the tips of their skates, and they go. And they go at you relentlessly. The same thing you just described with the Cavaliers. They attack relentlessly. Atkinson has gotten, you mentioned Garland. He has gotten Garland to buy into, hey, we're going to run this stuff through Mobley and Mitch. And we need you to be cool with that. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. It's leadership. That's leadership. And it's going to be on full display in Happy Valley on Saturday at noon. There will come a moment, or maybe, because these teams are pretty close. I think Ohio State's more talented, but it's not by head and shoulders. It's negligible. There will come moments in the game, probably in the second half, most likely in the fourth quarter, when either Ryan Day or James Franklin has to be able to pull the correct string. And he's got to be able to trust that the guys that he has trained, that he has recruited, that he has cultivated will act accordingly in that moment. That's the job. That's the job. And for those two guys, one of them will be on the good end of it by the time you get 4 o'clock on Saturday, and the other one is going to have infinite questions, especially if it's around here. Over there, maybe they're fine. Buckeyes beat us 27-24. Well, it's October. That's what they do. They come in here and beat us 27-24. Maybe that's fine over there. Not going to be fine around here. There is a tone that's set. There's a responsibility, and there is buy-in and give a damn and all of those things. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it. I saw it with third graders last night at practice. You saw it at Nationwide Arena. You saw it at Madison Square Garden. You absolutely see it in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin. We will get into that coming up next. We will also get into the AFC North in what was just a wild weekend. A lot of NFL conversation over the next 3. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Men, you already know that as we age, low testosterone can cause many issues, including decreased energy, bad sleep, a lower sex drive, and more. And if you're like most men, getting treated for low T can truly change your life. But it's also important where you get treated, because your health matters, and a quality medical practice that has true expertise in men's sexual health can help you get the best outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in treating low T and other men's sexual health issues in the area. And if you're feeling like I just described and haven't yet sought treatment, or if you're not satisfied with the treatment you're currently receiving, I'd invite you to call us. At Tri-State Men's Health, our expertise is men's sexual health. It's all we do. We've successfully treated thousands of men for low T, and we offer a true 5-star experience that is like no other. If you're like most men, you'll be astounded at our service and at the results of our treatments. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture an oil change that's quick, not rushed. When you hear the bell, feel yourself becoming light as a feather. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today. No automotive worry, no appointment needed.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at Germain Honda of Dublin.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You know, Ohio's Supreme Court makes headlines for the wrong reasons. They even ruled it's okay for boneless chicken wings to have bones that can choke kids.
But we can stop their extreme one-party politics by voting for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes for Ohio's Supreme Court.
Right. Ohio's newspapers say Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes are the clear choice.
We need an experienced, independent court we can trust. And Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes will judge the Reproductive Freedom Amendment fairly and honestly, protecting our rights, safety, and families.
Ohioans deserve independent justice, transparency, and equal treatment under the law. That's why we really need Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes to provide checks and balances.
Don't stop fighting for your rights, freedoms, and choices. But do remember to vote for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes.
Paid for by Donnelly for Supreme Court, Stewart for Ohio Supreme Court, and Forbes for Justice.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, the high 80 degrees. Very warm out there. And in fact, we could tie a record for the warmest day. Today, partly cloudy, low 58. Mild again on your Wednesday with a high of 80. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. Uncle Bo here, proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you are popping the question or ready to say, I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. And as true jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, they also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and provided the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Diamond Cellar. Check them out on Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, diamondcellar.com for more on that. Monday Night Football last night. I was monitoring a lot, obviously, with the you had Cavs. By the time I got done with hoops, we had Cavs and Jackets were in the throes of it. We had a baseball game that was Game 3 of the World Series. The team in my youth was already up 3-0 by the time I paratrooped in. And so at that point, there was the Monday Night Football game was the one thing that was kind of still hanging in the balance, that and the Cavs. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, did you know it was the sports equinox?
Hit me with what that
was
means.
that was the name for last night, where you had everything. All the professional leagues had games, where you had everything.
Everything.
The only day of the year where you have all of it.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
I mean
that's
only
what it felt
unique
like
because of the World Series.
Yes. Yeah. And that has been. You had this yesterday, I think, in 3 things, didn't you? With the numbers on the first 2 games of the World Series?
15.2 was what Fox was saying for Game 1, like the highest since 2017.
Yeah, well, you knew it. You knew it. You got the feeling, even if you were, somebody like me who's taken largely a baseball vacation through the summer, that if they could somehow get these 2 teams, and that they would deliver that. Now, the thing that is going to be really brutal for them is if this goes sweep. Because from and nobody here cares about whether the Fox people make money on this, I'm sure, but they basically won't if it's a sweep. It's a wash. So they really need 5, 6, 7 games. Then they start to really do well financially. But I'll be very curious to see how it rated against Steelers and Giants, because ABC Disney, they went pretty smart here. They played it. They took this game. Remember, they were going to stop playing the games on ABC, and instead they went all in and put them back on ABC. I think the political advertising is a big part of that, because now all of a sudden you can sell network television. It's more revenue space, and you're selling the NFL on network. All of that makes sense. So I think probably they did it from a political reason more than anything else. But I'll be very curious to see how the NFL rates up against Game 3 of the World Series at Yankee Stadium. Derek Jeter throwing out the first pitch, those uniforms. I mean, it was pretty cool, to say the least. As for the actual game itself, you have to tip your hat to Mike Tomlin, because there weren't a lot of people when he made the move off of Justin Fields that applauded it. And it did take courage to make that move. It took knowing your roster. Heck, go back to the conversation we just had about coaching and accountability and all of those things. It took being able to look people in the face and say, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. And it takes the people who are receiving that message to be able to take it in. And they have. And I love Justin Fields. He's one of my favorite players who ever played here. His 2-year stretch here is an all-timer. They're better with Russell Wilson. They just are. They're better on the ground. Wilson's getting the ball out really quickly, and when he gets it out quickly, it's landing in the intended targets. He had a really tough fumble late in the game where it got punched out, and I thought, gosh, are the Giants maybe going to do it? And then Superman TJ Watt says, actually, I'm good. I'm going to do what I always do. He had a sack on the previous drive. Then he gets a sack strip fumble on the penultimate drive for the Giants. I will give Daboll some credit. And the reason I was curious, were you guys watching this in the fourth quarter as it was being decided? Cole, you're a Steelers fan, so I'm sure you were.
Oh, yeah, every single play. Yeah.
Were you Manning cast or were you...
Manning cast. My dad thinks that the Manning brothers are the funniest people on the planet.
Reese, were you watching at the end when it was decided?
I was. Yeah, I had the regular broadcast.
Okay, on the regular broadcast, did Troy and Joe understand what Daboll did with the 12-man?
I don't think in the moment.
Yeah. Eli did. Peyton was like, what are they doing? 12 men on the field. And Eli was like, Pate, I think it's on purpose. I think it's intentional. He pointed out, they had Bill Cowher on with him. Cole, I wish they weren't doing so many skits, because it was like the game was being decided and they kept trying to do like the bits. It was like, just react to what's happening. This game's good enough. You don't need to...
Like Bill Cowher spitting everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they go back to those written jokes, and it's like, don't just watch ball. It's all here for you. But Eli knew what Daboll was doing by running the 12th man out, because what it does is it gave Pittsburgh an automatic first down, and then what it did is it forced Pittsburgh to punt because of the 2-minute warning. Now all of a sudden it forced them to punt because they got the stop on those downs, because it was going to be 2nd and 3. So you run a down or play, and you have to burn timeouts. So it was really smart of Daboll, and the Mannings had it. Eli specifically, to his credit, had it. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh does what it does. When it comes time to go win a football game, they know how to win it. And Danny Dimes just floated one for the final interception, and that was it. But it starts at quarterback, and that's what makes this Pittsburgh team a little bit different. They've always had the playmakers on defense. Now all of a sudden they have a quarterback who's not turning it over. They have a quarterback who's making the layups. And all of a sudden, they have an engaged ground game as well. So this goes back to Tomlin. It goes back to leadership. Here is Mike on Russ and his performance last night.
I just thought he didn't need to warm up to it, a little less rust than the week before. But I'm not surprised by his capabilities, if that's what you mean.
Russell Wilson available post-game yesterday as well. And I think him and quite honestly, give Justin Fields a lot of credit the way he handled the move to Russell Wilson. Here's Let Russ Cook post-game.
We got great confidence. We haven't done anything yet. We're obviously sitting here at 6-2, which is a great thing, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. When we look back at it all, we got to be making sure that we're staying focused on the next task, and that's to really be take care of our bodies, take care of our minds. Enjoy this with your families and all that stuff this bye week, because we got a surge ahead of us that we got to go get, and there's a lot of great games ahead of us, and we're not going to shy away from them.
They are plus 68 on point differential, which is good for second in the AFC behind Buffalo. They've won 3 in a row. They are, quite honestly, a team that I think we need to start considering a little bit in terms of, are they a true contender now with how they look? And what leads me to believe that, in fact, they are, is there are some things now that they do that are scary. TJ Watt is scary. He wrecks games. On the biggest stages, It's crazy, but I feel like I've seen him get a sack, strip, fumble every time they play in prime time, and they play in prime time a lot. Pickens can be scary for good and bad reasons. All of a sudden, though, they're running it with Najee.
That was the biggest thing watching last night, was how they were able to run the football. Also, I don't know, how did the Mannings do with the Pickens tap, out of bounds, touchdown, not catch?
I was not watching at that time with them. Were you, Cole? Did you see how they handled that?
I'm sure I was, but I don't even recall.
Okay.
But I know that a lot of former NFL players, I know J.J. Watt was tweeting about it, saying, so 2 right feet doesn't count as a right and left?
2 feet. They weren't the 2 right
Ryan
ones.
Clark was tweeting about it, too. So there were certainly former NFL players who were not aware of that rule.
So, Reese, for the people who saw it, who did not see the play that you're talking about, explain what happened.
So Pickens catches a pass in the back of the end zone from Russ, and he gets his right foot down, kind of hops, gets his right foot down again, and then falls out of the back of the end zone. And they called it not a catch because he didn't get both feet down before he fell out of bounds.
So there's another Pickens thing that went viral where he jumped in and body slammed somebody late in the game, where he did a
Monday Night Raw, baby.
Monday Night Raw. So I did not see. I think probably because they won the game too. That's probably why that play is not being made a bigger deal. That's about the dumbest play I've ever heard. The only thing more stupid than that is that the other one that's really dumb the NFL has is if you get 2 toes down in the back of the end zone, it's a catch, right? From now apparently need to be both feet. But if you get both heels down and the toes hit on the sideline, if you get both toes down and the heels hit out of bounds, it's not a catch. End zone, 2 toes down, catch. 2 toes down on the sideline, heels hit out of bounds, not a catch.
Which is kind of silly because in theory, wouldn't you think that the play would be over as soon as you have possession and 2 feet in bounds?
You got to make the football move.
I know. So meaning that as soon as your heels would hit out of bounds in that case, or vice versa, you would already have possession, the play should be dead.
Correct. Yeah. And the 1 foot touching twice is clearly a touchdown. This is what I know. Pittsburgh's going into their bye week. They go into their bye week at 6-2. I still really like Baltimore, obviously, but I do think Pittsburgh might even be more here for the long haul because of what Russ gives them, the certainty that he gives them offensively, and because their defense is what it is. Baltimore's defense is a sieve. Pittsburgh's defense, not at all. Formidable. Absolutely formidable. They are off this week. Then they're at their next 3. Boy, their next 4. That's what he's talking about here. Mm-hmm. At Commies after the bye week. Ravens at home. At Browns. At Bengals. That takes them to early December with the Steelers, who are atop the AFC North. All right, coming up next, who exactly is playing quarterback on Saturday in State College? We will attempt to answer that question coming up, plus Will Howard with some strong words on Penn State. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Now you can ship the delicious flavors of Schmidt sausages to any tailgate around the country. Send a taste of Columbus tradition to your favorite fan base, wherever they may be. Just place your order, and Schmidt's will package up their famous sausages and sides ready for the grill on game day. Go to schmidthaus.com/shop and use coupon code TAILGATE and receive 15% off your purchased order. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
Football season is here, and we have so much stuff. One station isn't enough. Find even more Pigskin on ESPN Columbus.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2, or listen on the Fan app.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Looking for a trusted heating and cooling company? James Laurinaitis here for Custom Air. When I come home from a football game, I know that I'm walking into comfort. That's because Custom Air is on my team. When Custom Air does my semi-annual maintenance checkup, I trust them to spot any issues early on, so it'll save me money down the road. Don't let your HVAC call for a timeout this season. Tackle fall and winter like a pro. Go to customairco.com and schedule your maintenance today. Custom solutions, custom comfort. Custom Air.
It's a crisis. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden opened our border, and Democrats helped them. Liberals have destroyed the work President Trump accomplished to build the wall and secure the border.
Sherrod Brown is a radical left politician who has played politics for 50 years, making a career of selling you out. He's for broken borders and illegal migrants pouring into your cities and towns.
Kamala and Brown have made Ohio less safe. Nearly 500,000 criminal illegal immigrants have been released into America and our neighborhoods, including 13,000 convicted murderers and untold amounts of drugs.
Bernie Moreno will stop it. He's going to secure our border. You got to go out and back Bernie Moreno. I've known him so long. An outsider businessman who will fight for you, and he's going to work with me. We're going to make America greater than ever before.
I'm Bernie Moreno, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Bernie Moreno for Senate and NRSC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? So with you.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. It is the Buckeyes and it's the Nittany's. They will hook up at noon on Saturday over in State College. I was actually surprised a little bit yesterday when we were talking a little bit about the Penn State game and Drew Aller, Medina native, who has been really good for them as a starting quarterback this season, got injured in their game at Wisconsin on Saturday. If you went on the ESPN college football headlines page, it was not one of the 10 headlines that were up that he was even in question in terms of the injury. So going into the show yesterday, and as we were talking about it yesterday, I'm like, well, it can't be that big of a deal that he got hurt because there wasn't some sort of notification on it. Well, Franklin talked yesterday, and there's a notification now. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th story at the top. I mean, this is College Game Day. It's Big Noon. It's all of those things will all be in Happy Valley for this game, and this is the starting quarterback of the number 3 team in the country, and apparently it's going to be a game-time decision. Here's James Franklin on Drew Aller and his health and the decision on who will be the starting quarterback for the Nittany Lions on Saturday.
But the reality is we're going to have both guys ready
ready, and you could even make the argument all three guys ready, which is challenging to do in a game week, is to try to get all those guys ready. So I have had some conversations with Danny and Andy about that already. We'll continue to have conversations about it, but I do think Drew has played enough football that it'll go all the way up to game time until we make that decision.
Do you believe him?
No.
That's my hunch too.
I think, and I noticed that I was in and out Saturday. I'll just say after again wisdom teeth removed on Friday.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you. I a little sore, soup for the next couple of days. But I remember coming out of my stupor and going, "That's not Drew Aller." Like this was the second half of the game against Wisconsin, and then seeing him on the sideline. I don't know if he had a knee brace or not, or if he had anything. But I'm like, they probably could use him.
Yeah.
Like, why is he not playing in this? Like, it felt to me a big deal, and it was quiet Sunday, and I think they had maybe a statement like, "It's we'll wait and see Monday." And then with Franklin yesterday, it's like game time decision. Like, yeah, okay, buddy. Like that's the confidence you don't need going into a game like this about your starting quarterback.
He goes down at the end of the first half. Came out and tried to give it a go at the second, and then said, "Yeah, probably not. I'm good." To be perfectly transparent, Bo Prabula came in and went 11 of 13 and a touchdown and was really strong in the second half in a game that was in the balance. So you want to talk about feet in the fire. Prabula's feet are in the fire, and he led them to a victory in Madison. This one obviously will be very, very different. I don't know. I feel like Franklin knows, though, and I think he's probably trying to do gamesmanship this week if Drew can play or not. And my hunch is Drew Aller will play. If he came out and he went through medicals at halftime and I don't think I can go. I don't feel all the way right. My hunch is he'll go on Saturday. Could be totally wrong. Who knows? Franklin is not exactly great when it comes to transparency. You saw the stuff last week where he refused to ask questions about a couple of former players and some sexual assault allegations. I think he did apologize for that post. I think he did. Yeah. But the initial instinct was garbage. It's certainly not lost on us or anybody that there is an Ohioan quarterbacking Penn State and a Pennsylvanian quarterbacking Ohio State. This will be one that means an awful lot for Drew Aller. If he plays his career at Penn State and never beats Ohio State, there will always be a hole in that resume, no matter what's accomplished. Will Howard gets one shot. He gets one shot against Penn State. He's a Pennsylvania kid. He was asked post-game and gave an incredibly emotional answer to the idea of playing in Happy Valley on Saturday.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. It's going to be a homecoming for me. I grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. But I guess we'll see next week if I was.
I love that. Now you got to do it. Now you got to go do it. But that's what leadership looks like. That's what accountability looks like. Put it on me. And I said yesterday on the show, I stand by it. I think the roadmap for this team now having success, big success, the success that they hoped of, it's really going to be on his arm. Because I don't think that they can physically dominate people in the lines of scrimmage the way that they intended. So if they get a win in Happy Valley on Saturday, it'll be because of the passing game. It'll be because of Will Howard. Guess what? That's not just me saying it. Go back to the Oregon game. When it came time to go win it, it was Will, go win it. The whole second half. Go win it because they couldn't block it up front, not the way that they wanted to. So they've got NFL receivers. They've got a supernova in Jeremiah Smith. And if Howard plays the way he mostly played against Oregon and mostly played in the game on Saturday, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself on Saturday afternoon. But this will be, as much as we talk about it, it'll be about those two coaches, it's going to be a lot about these two quarterbacks.
Something else that you had said yesterday kind of stuck with me is like you would hate to think about where this Ohio State team is without Will Howard right now.
Oh, my gosh.
And we had said 16 attempts against Nebraska. You're going to have to bump those numbers up against the Nittany Lions because the troubles and issues they were having on the interior of that offensive line against Oregon's interior, it's almost copy and paste to what Penn State's going to offer. And they've got two defensive ends that, well, with Oregon not having their best defensive end, still was able to create a lot of havoc and keep you from really carrying the ball, but for two good runs by Travion. Like, I see a lot of the same stuff from what Oregon offered defensively to what Penn State offers from a front seven, and Penn State might actually be better. And that's terrifying to think about if you're an Ohio State fan.
I think the biggest key, let alone other than the previously mentioned second half against Oregon and the way they called the offensive game, I think if you're looking for another clue into what they think, how about a fourth down where we throw it to Emeka Egbuka? We ran a quick out with Emeka instead of just running it because you couldn't run it. And that was against Nebraska's front. And Nebraska's front is good, as Ty was pointing out yesterday, but it's not Penn State good. So all of these things, there are so many lessons in The Wire. All the pieces matter, right? So they're telling you what they think they are. It's all out there week to week. And, you know, for Will, I just can't imagine it getting one, like being a Penn State fan your whole life, going to Kansas State, thinking, am I ever going to get my shot? And then all of a sudden, through crazy circumstances, you're the quarterback at Ohio State, and you're going to go to Happy Valley, number 3 against number 4, with so much at stake. So much at stake. And he gets in the – Jameis has been quoting Eminem a lot over the weekend. You get one shot, one opportunity. This is it for Will. They're not going to get another game here to play the Nittany Lions. This is one shot, and it's over there in his home state. I cannot imagine – how amped he will be. I appreciate him as a player. I appreciate him as a leader. I mean, we made this observation earlier in the season. They're treating him like a pro. He's like an NFL quarterback every week with the availability. Like, that's what it looks like.
I just hope he doesn't lean too much into Jameis because, Will's got to make better decisions.
Yeah, well, look, he made a Jameis decision against Nebraska.
Can't do that.
Just feathered it. Can't do that.
Is Kyle Hamilton going to see that dropped interception in his nightmares?
I would tell you this, that I think that was probably the easiest interception of Kyle Hamilton's career, and I'm talking about back to second grade. I guarantee you in second grade he did not drop that interception. There's no way he did, because he would have been a stud in the second grade.
Incredible.
As an 8-year-old. As an 8-year-old, he catches that. There's no question. That's Jimmy D, man. That's Jimmy D.
There's some divine intervention Sunday for the Cleveland Browns. I'm just going back to Will Howard real quick because there will be, I think, he's a guy you trust to have his emotions in check.
Yes.
And so you're not too worried about him making a bunch of horrible decisions, but all it takes with this kind of a razor-thin margin against a team that's as good as Penn State is just one.
Yeah, that's it. He's great except for these little things, but then the little things become big things. One other piece of housekeeping on the Buckeyes. Monday, it was announced that Arvell Reese will be available for the game at State College on Saturday. Following the win, the program submitted an appeal to the Big Ten regarding Reese's fourth-quarter targeting penalty, arguing that he should not have been ejected for his hit on Nebraska wide receiver Jamal Banks. The Big Ten went to the NCAA, who determined upon review that the play should not have been penalized for targeting, no kidding, and vacated Reese's suspension, allowing him to play the entire game. Can you imagine if they would have scored on that drive?
No.
Really sorry you lost, boys, and you're out of the college football playoff mix, but
we
you got that one wrong.
Hey, sorry.
Jeez. They do that in the NFL all the time. They release the mistakes, and it's like it cost us a game. Your apology is nothing. Absolutely nothing. The Dodgers on the brink of a sweep in the World Series after winning last night 4-2 in a series that has certainly captured the attention of the country. And speaking of capturing the attention of the country, when a statue goes bad. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
So I asked the local Pella Columbus team, we're doing these ads for you. What should I tell the people? Hey, it's Bobby, and I expected them to talk about how awesome the Pella windows are and quality and looks and all that. But their first response was actually, We just want people to know how buttoned up we are. The windows, they sell themselves, but we want people to know there's a local Pella Columbus team here in town that's all in on making the process as perfect as the windows. And if you Google Pella Columbus, you'll see the reviews that prove all of it. So now you know Pella Columbus.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at DewOutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Bo Bishop here. Join us for the Make a Difference Gala, High Bank Distillery, November 12th. It's bourbon, food, and fun with Brady Quinn, Bobby Carpenter, and me. The gala benefits the Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com. 21 or older, please drink responsibly.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
IBM and ESPN are unveiling enhancements to the ESPN Fantasy app that put Watson X-powered insights directly in users' hands, giving them access to personalized, data-driven information, such as personalized player grades based on each team's needs, predictions of each player's potential upside and downside, and transparent explanations of AI-generated player grades. Entering its 8th consecutive year, the collaboration between IBM and ESPN Fantasy Football continues to transform football data into compelling and helpful information for fantasy team owners. Sponsored by IBM.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we are, of course, sponsored by our great friends at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss is Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you were Dwayne Wade, what would you do?
I would do what he did.
You would say it's not a lie if you believe it?
I would come out and back the organization because someone had to approve it within the organization.
He had to.
I'm assuming that someone is Pat Riley.
Dwayne Wade had to.
And then there's that.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, the Miami Heat unveiled a statue of Dwayne Wade this weekend down in Miami outside of their arena. It looks nothing like Dwayne Wade. So the one that is most similarly compared to is the one from Cristiano Ronaldo. If you remember that, went viral a couple of years ago, that looked nothing like Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think Ronaldo was like, yeah, that thing's got to go. Like that's got to go. Dwayne Wade backed it. He backed it. He said, why is everyone critical of work? This is someone's interpretation. I don't know. There's that video of him sitting next to his son. after it's unveiled, and it looks to me like him and his son are thinking the same thing all of us are thinking, and that is that looks nothing like you in any way. And it feels like that's something that should be not for like not artistic types like us, but if you're in the artistic type world and you're in the sculpting world, and you're in the getting faces on busts right world, like couldn't you just get the guy who does the Pro Football Hall of Fame busts? Just get that guy.
Seems like they nail those.
Just do that. Like, they're perfect. And I remember when Joe Thomas went through it, and I would imagine you have a similar process for what they did down in Miami. Like, Joe went to, the guy was in Utah, and he sat for him for like 6 hours. And the guy like got it started. And then they had to make the decision, do you want to be the Joe Thomas you look like now, who weighs 225 and is chiseled, or do you want to be the 300-pound Joe Thomas who played for the Browns? And Joe took the 325 guy. That's the guy he took, because he goes, that's the guy who's in the hall, not the skinny guy. So that's why that happened. But like, I would think that Dwayne Wade would have been in on all of it. And he must have been good with it to some degree. I don't know.
So at 971 BFS, I've posted the picture of the statue next to the image that they're attempting to replicate.
I mean, it looks nothing like him.
I got nothing. So when they unveiled it, I think he even, when he stood up at the podium, he's like, "Who's that guy?" It's like, you can't tell if he's joking or not, but yeah, he said
the jaw. It looks like he looks like he had the surgery you had. The sculpture, like he got his wisdom teeth out. It's the jaw that's the problem.
It kind of looks like he has a beard too, and at no point in his playing career do I remember Dwayne Wade with a beard.
Yeah, you're right. It's either a beard or it looks like he's had his wisdom teeth pulled. They messed up the jawline entirely. Jeez. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. It's been brutal for the New York Yankees. They waited 15 years to host a World Series game. They returned to this series down 2-0. It is Yankees-Dodgers. It's everything Major League Baseball has hoped for. It's delivered in the sense that it's given great theater. The walk-off win by Freddie Freeman with the grand slam in Game 1. He went yard again in the game last night. So the games have been competitive. It's unfortunately for television, unfortunately for baseball, they've all gone the way of the Dodgers. You guys watch way more baseball than I do. Does this seem about right to you, Reese? The way this has gone?
And also, it's Fat Joe's fault that Freeman homered in the first inning. He came out in Timberland boots at the beginning of the game and did one of his 3 songs on the mound. So after it gets all manicured and it gets stamped and everything, he's out there in boots just stomping around on the thing. No. And it was a treat to see Yankees fans on social media freak out over Fat Joe. Blaming him for how that went.
It was his fault?
It was his fault because they couldn't get traction on the mound, allowing Ohtani to get on base, allowing Freeman to hit a home run. He's one of 3 players all time to hit a home run in games 1, 2, and 3 of the World Series.
Yeah.
So pretty historic stuff by the Dodgers.
Is Fat Joe some rap legend? Because I hadn't heard of this guy until 3 years ago, and now he's on every single podcast. Every single time that he's courtside at a basketball game, they're taking pictures and putting it on social media.
I would say
I feel like to respond to Ice Cube with Fat Joe is a bit of a drop off.
True.
Yeah. He's New York guy versus obviously, but I would say he's a little bit timeline wise after Cube. Because Cube's like NWA and Dre and Snoop and all that. And that's early 90s. My hunch is Fat Joe is more mid to late 90s.
Yeah. Well, Fat Joe's even 05, 06.
Oh, so he maybe had a little bit of a longer run. Okay. You weren't even born, buddy. So you're good. I think that it's just a shame that you're not going to probably get a longer series here because this thing can be over tonight and it can be a 4-game sweep. It is so interesting what the Dodgers have become. I've said before, this is not the Dodgers team that I liked as a kid. The uniforms are the same because they're perfect, but the way that they go about their business is not. It's also a wild sliding doors because, correct me if I'm wrong, were they not down 2-1 at San Diego in the first round?
That sounds right.
That's right.
And San Diego knocked them out. And I'm pretty sure it was a bullpen game that they had to stay alive. and then they won the Game 5 in L.A., and that propelled them on. But they were on the cusp of it, and they were known primarily as choking in the postseason. They've got the one World Series after they've had all of this Guggenheim money. They had the one World Series win, but it was behind closed doors in COVID, and did anybody even notice? Well, this one, they're noticing. And so it's kind of all coming home for them. And you think about Ohtani real quick. I know we're up against it. This is all any of us ever wanted for Mike Trout 6-7 years ago, is to see him play on this stage. And we never got to. He never got to.
Right city, wrong team.
Yeah. And he re-upped for it. There was always going to go play for the Phillies, going to play for the Yankees. He didn't. He decided to stay in L.A., and I don't blame him. Orange County's wonderful. But we never saw Mike Trout, and we never will see Mike Trout playing a game like this in his prime. It's done. And Ohtani is getting that opportunity. And we'll probably have lots of them with this roster going forward. All right, second hour of the program coming up next. We begin it with the real truth. Will the Buckeye Nittany Lion loser still make the 12-team playoff? We'll examine it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Join Bobby Mack and Jody Shelley for The Inside Edge, a behind-the-scenes look at all things Blue Jackets.
Wednesday night at 7.
Your home for Jackets hockey, The Fan.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season?
Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas where you'll compete for the grand prize.
A trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl.
Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory.
This week, join me on Sunday at Yogi's Bar and Grill in Dublin. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. watching the Browns take on the Bengals and giving you a shot at the Super Bowl, courtesy of Bud Light.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Does your vehicle need maintenance, but you don't have time? Krieger Ford's got you covered. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or we come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
Skyline is serving up special Halloween ways made with orange noodles this Wednesday and Thursday only. Stop in for Skyline Halloween ways or pick them up and take them home. October 30th and 31st only at participating Skyline restaurants while supplies last.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Hey, fans!
Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 4 Ohio State is at number 3 Penn State this Saturday at noon. No word yet on who will be quarterbacking the Nittany Lions. Drew Aller injured his knee over the weekend in Penn State's win at Wisconsin. James Franklin said on Monday it'll be a game-time decision between Aller and sophomore Beau Pribula. We'll hear from OSU's Ryan Day today at noon in his weekly press conference. Coach Day also joined Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 for a special Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. In the NHL last night, the Blue Jackets beat the Oilers 6-1. CBJ will host the Islanders on Wednesday. Tonight in the Arena District, the Columbus Crew host the New York Red Bulls in Game 1 of their first-round MLS Cup playoff matchup. Kickoff is 6:45. New York's going to host Game 2 of their best-of-3 this coming Sunday. This update sponsored by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Second hour here on a Tuesday. Cole, loyal listener, Wolfman Matt, with this. He writes on social, I'm sure your producer, Cole, has fond memories of Law & Order SVU legend Ice-T.
I definitely know who that is. I couldn't name you one song of his, but if he walked in this room, I'd recognize him.
The probably the most famous one you couldn't say on the air, we would quite honestly no longer be in the mix if you did. So it's funny then that there's no chance you've seen New Jack City.
No.
Reese, have you seen New Jack City?
No.
See, because you love Commando, so I thought maybe there was a chance that was in the mix for you. It's it's Wesley Snipes, it's Ice-T. It is a gangster in New York. And Wesley Snipes is the big bad Nino Brown. It's about the introduction of crack in New York. It's awesome. It's great. Really fun. I don't have any idea if it holds up, but I probably saw it 1,000 times when I was a kid. Very, very good. And was actually my introduction into Ice-T, not the musical career. Let's hit the real truth, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
The loser of the Ohio State-Penn State game this Saturday will still make the 12-team college football playoff. Is that the real truth?
We're going to make a big deal about this game all week long, and we're going to say everything is on the line on Saturday, and the reality is it'll kind of feel like that. But also, yeah, I think it is the real truth. And here's why. Penn State with a loss. This is their last 4, fellas. Washington, at Purdue, at Minnesota, Maryland. In other words, even with a loss, Penn State is going 11-1, and that'll do it. That is going to do it. They are a brand, and 11-1 would certainly be justified. Conversely, if for some reason Ohio State were to lose, and it's close, which they're not going to get run, so even if they lose similarly to the way that they lost to Oregon and drop to no better than 10-2, they still have Indiana here and Michigan, in addition to Purdue and Northwestern. And I'm going to tell you right now, 10-2 is not keeping the Buckeyes out. They have to win out, but they're in. So no. Well, is this an elimination game? No, it's not an elimination game for either team. It's a really big game, but this is what a 12-team playoff does. It's funny, I was listening to Coach Day, and Clay was doing a great job of bringing it up in the postgame here on The Fan when he was interviewing the players, like Coach Day talking about, hey, we're in the playoffs now. I understand the mentality that you're trying to create there, where we've got to win every game we play, But the honest reality is you don't. There will be cannibalism in the SEC. There are going to be multiple 3-loss teams in the SEC. There will be some cannibalization that happens in the ACC. And both of these brands are big enough that even in a loss for either Penn State or Ohio State, if they win out, they're in. 10-2, 11-1 gets you in. So, yes, it's the real truth.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. And that's not very exciting because this feels like a Wisconsin resume from recent years where they would win the Big Ten West and then, like clockwork, lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. And it's like, well, all right, you beat the teams you were better than and you lost to all the teams that were better than you. It's like, that's not a very exciting resume. But if Ohio State were to do that, where they would lose to Oregon and Penn State and then just sweep everybody else, yeah, I don't think that gets you a home game, and that's definitely not a scenario that Ohio State fans would want. But I do think that could still put you somewhere 8, 9, 10, 11. I still think that's a reasonable position.
Let's just play this
9,
out.
10, 11.
Reese, play this out. Alabama is 6-2, and they're ranked 14th in the country. So their losses are to Vandy and Tennessee. Ohio State's losses would be to Oregon and Penn State, who are ranked number 1 and number 3 in the country. They're not dropping lower than what, 12? 13?
But different ranking committee next week.
Yeah, but they're going to follow this. They're going to puppet this. They'll puppet it.
But the problem with that is that Alabama has a win against Georgia, and Ohio State's best win would be Indiana. Which
that's fair.
For now,
that's fair.
Looks good, but I think it's all based on preconceived notions. Because if Ohio State goes out there and runs Indiana, that's going to be something for a lot of people. Oh, see, Indiana was a cute story up until a certain point. I don't think the narrative after that game would be, oh, Indiana was really good and Ohio State's just that much better. I think Indiana's still being treated like a cute story up to this point.
Yes, they absolutely are.
I think that's fair.
Because I think any of the teams in the SEC having done what Indiana's done against the most not stellar of competition, but still putting up the numbers that they have offensively, is a darling for a lot of national types. But it's Indiana. It's not sexy. They're not a darling.
They're being traded like they're in the Big 12 or ACC.
It's just cute. Yeah, it's just a cute little story.
Cute little story.
Do we put anything into Vanderbilt kind of hanging around with Texas this past weekend?
No, I mean, I equated it yesterday to Ohio State and Nebraska. Like, if Nebraska were to play Vanderbilt at the beginning of the year, Nebraska would have been favored in that game. Mm-hmm. So, like, I just think we're at a point now in college football where there's a great deal of parity week to week. Man, I think it shows up, and I think that's how Vanderbilt beats Alabama. I think how they get close to beating Texas, and that's why Ohio State struggled against Nebraska. Like, it's just, there aren't that many teams that are wagons. Oregon's a wagon right now, but they weren't a wagon in September. Right now, they're blowing people out. Georgia, if Mark Stoops doesn't punt it to Georgia, does Georgia have 2 losses already?
To the point of the initial statement, Ohio State, Penn State, the loser will make the 12-team playoff, it would take 3 losses, I think, for either of those teams to miss out on the college football playoff.
I agree.
And that's what would have to happen to see the Buckeyes or the Nittany Lions left out once the final rankings come out in December. After his performance Sunday, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson shouldn't start the rest of the season. Is that the real truth?
All right. So, do you guys know what happened here with him?
Yep.
He was bad.
No. It's not that. He was bad, yeah. I mean, he's wildly inaccurate. He's ill-prepared to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. We all knew that coming out of Florida. He only started 6 games. Anthony Richardson, in a drive in this game on Sunday against Houston, tapped his head and pulled himself out of the game. And then post-game said he was gassed. I'm doing a lot of running around out there. Now, in my time covering big-time college football and the NFL, I have never seen a quarterback sub himself out of a game because he was tired. This is a 22-year-old. Yes, you're running around, but so does Lamar. So do a lot of people. They run for their lives. Like, he subbed himself out. So, no, I don't think it's the real truth that he shouldn't start the rest of the season. But I do think that they are in a real spot with him in terms of his play on the field juxtaposed to doing what he did and taking himself out of a game. All the while, every veteran on that team is looking at Joe Flacco and going, wouldn't we just be better right now with him? So I think it's a learning. This is what happens when you draft a guy who started 6 games in college. Like, he's not ready for what comes with being an NFL quarterback, and that's what happened on Sunday in a lot of ways, on the field, off the field, all of it. I wouldn't penalize him forever. Like, I still think there's some talent there, but he is he needs to go to like Green Bay and sit for 3 years is what he needed to do, instead of them trying to force him onto the field, because they don't need to. They have Flacco. Treat him like something you're invested in and teach him how to play quarterback at the professional level, both on the field and off.
Reese, I'm curious about the catalyst about this question. Was it pulling himself out, or was it the 2 for 15 start?
It was the first.
The pulling. Because I didn't see that.
It was pulling himself out.
That, for me, should bench him for the whole season when you put on top of that his poor play. Because when you have a quarterback like Joe Flacco, who at the back end of the Browns season willed them into the playoffs, helped to have a good deep. Like, Indianapolis is still very much alive for the AFC South. Like, Texas, the Texans are 6-2, but C.J. Stroud's not been playing great as late. Like, you can still manage a playoff spot if you make that right choice, and it would be Joe Flacco.
I mean, sure. Look, it does not take much for me to dog Anthony Richardson on the radio. So, sure. He was a bad draft pick. He's not a good player. And when I found out that he pulled himself out of a game, I just assumed, because of his athletic ability, that he had like a 70-yard run and just treated it like a running back or like a receiver who
that's how he treated it.
And I'm like, okay. And then that's a little bit weird. I'd never seen that before. And then I watched a play, and he kind of just like scrambled to his left, stopped, and then scrambled to his right. I'm like, a ton of quarterbacks do that. That's not a unique exertion of effort. So, no, I'm sick of this guy. Get rid of him.
Nobody knows what a catch is. We will never truly know what a catch is. Is that the real truth?
The NFL is. It is. The NFL is just obtuse when it comes to looking at how other things are done, for example, in the college game, and not just adapting them. Just adapt them. There's no reason for 2 feet down. 1 foot down, that's it. As for what a catch is, you know it when you see it. That's how I would describe that. You know what a catch is when you see it. I think that would solve it. Another example of this is the NFL refusing to adopt the college football overtime rules. They're better. They're better than yours, and they should. Just turn off the stats so that you don't have guys throwing for 8 touchdowns. I think that's a big part of it, is the incentives in the contracts. Just turn off the stats at the end of regulation, and those stats don't accumulate. And do the college. Just do what college is doing. It's better than what you're doing. So yes, I do think that it is that this is the real truth, and I think the reason for it is just pride, honestly.
Yeah, this is the real truth, because I don't think it's ever going to be clear, because football is just so cyclical with weird rules turning into other weird rules. It's overtime does it too. They change the overtime rules every 3 minutes. It's never going to be clear and concrete. And I remember like that Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl a handful of years ago. They like changed the catch rule leading into that Super Bowl to be like an example of what it was going to be the next year. It's just so weird. It's never going to be clear.
Dan Quinn is the coach of the year so far in the NFL. Is that the real truth?
All right, let me see. He's certainly on a short list. I would say LaFleur, Quinn, Campbell, Tomlin. Boy, you got to go Andy, too. I mean, they're 7-0, and nobody...
That's mine.
It's how they're 7-0. He's on a very short list. I think of the teams we just talked about, Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City, who else did I mention? Tomlin. I think of the teams I mentioned, they're the most surprising 6-2. So if you want to give it to Dan Quinn, I'm down with it.
I'm down with that, too. I think it's got to be based off of preseason expectations. I know that the Chiefs have not looked like what we thought they were, so there is definitely an argument to be made that Andy Reid is helping them win tighter games than we would think. So I would go with him or O'Connell in Minnesota, perhaps, but one of those two for sure.
Yeah.
Just with that football wizard always helps for Andy Reid. Just real quick for you, Bo. The Yankees should walk Freddie Freeman every at-bat in tonight's Game 4. Is that the real truth?
I would. I don't know why you would pitch to him. Like, it's enough.
Because if he goes yard again, and if they decide to pitch to him, that'll take the year to Yankee Stadium, and you might as well just start packing things up.
Yeah.
See you in Florida.
No, I would. I wouldn't. I would have no interest in it. I would not. I would walk it to take it. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself. Walk on down there. I wouldn't let him hit. Not at this point. All right, coming up next, the Bengals in big trouble. How did it get to this point defensively and just as an operation in a must-win, hosting a Raiders team, which is very winnable this weekend? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Scotty Vegas here. In November is Veterans Month, a time to celebrate and honor the heroes who have served our country. This November, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is showing their appreciation for active duty veterans and spouses by offering 15% off your entire Awaken 180 program. Free support for life included. It's a thank you for the sacrifices you've made protecting our freedoms and making this country what it is. This is a special. Awaken 180 has never offered a discount, ever. If this incentive can help turn your focus on you, your health, your goals, and your happiness, I say go for it. Do what I did and choose a solution for weight loss. So if you're active duty, a veteran, or a spouse of one, this month is about you. Celebrate Veterans Month with 15% off your Awaken 180 program. And as with all clients, receive free support for life after reaching your goals. Do what I did. And over 23,000 others have done. Take control at awaken180weightloss.com.
Shop Meijer this week for monster deals and spooky savings. Save on bulk Fuji or Gala apples, just 99 cents a pound. From creepy to just plain silly, our huge selection of Halloween costumes for the entire family are now 25% off. You'll be the favorite house on the block when you hand out Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Buy 2 bags, get 1 free. And Halloween tree pails are only $1 each. Shop these frighteningly good deals and more in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Can't make it to the game? Watch the Fan's pre- and post-game shows live on YouTube. Just search 97 on The Fan and click subscribe.
The Fan's YouTube channel is sponsored by Coors Light.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A warm one is expected today. We are looking at highs around 80 in the metro area, a little bit cooler outside of town. Dry tonight with a low of 58. Dry tomorrow with a high of 80. Rain and wind expected late in the day on Halloween that could disrupt any trick-or-treating plans. I'm meteorologist Dylan Rubshad with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Erectile dysfunction, certainly an intimacy destroyer. Research shows that men can draw apart from their partners when ED affects the sex life. Condition causes stress, anxiety, depression. Even worse, a man's partner can blame themselves when ED becomes a problem. And it's certainly a given that the better medical practice generally leads to better outcomes for patients. So if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, you certainly want a good outcome. And that's where my friends at Tri-State Men's Health Practices come in. They practice better medicine. They're the leaders in treating men's sexual health issues here in Ohio. So do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town. Initial visit is just $99. It includes that medical consult, licensed medical provider, the TNPSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. Now, if the test dose doesn't work, the office visit's going to be free, so it's a no-lose win-win for you. Give them a call today. Get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com for more. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard near Medical Mile in Westerville as well. This has been an all-in Cincinnati Bengals operation for the last couple of years, certainly. But this is as all-in as they can be because after this year, this will all be very, very different. T. Higgins obviously will not be here next year. They're going to have to reconfigure this thing on the fly around Joe Burrow. They're going to have to make sure they hit on their picks the way they did the last time. And so this was a year where it was, if we get a healthy Joe, go win the Super Bowl, go win the division. They had a last place schedule that they could take full advantage of. So there were a lot of boxes to check for them. This start has been far less than what was anticipated, folks. And for the non-Bengals fans don't need to hear this. They already know it. 0-4 at home after a 37-17 home loss to Philly, a game that was tied 10-10 going into intermission, and Philly just overwhelmed them, outscored the Bengals 27-7 in the second half. The Bengals defense is putting up very little resistance. Jalen Hurts in this one went 16-20, 236 and a touchdown. Saquon had 108 on the ground as well. A pick for Burrow. The Bengals offense had been flying high. They were not quite up to that par, but really this is a defensive issue more than anything else. Perhaps it's a Zach Taylor issue as well. A lot of calls for him to give up play calling. I've even heard people say, look, if Stefanski can give up play calling, Zach can give up play calling too. Here is Zach on the defensive issues, most especially the inability to get pressure on the quarterback.
There's a lot of things we've tried. There's some things we've done in previous games, and it's a challenge. There's times when you pressure, and if you don't get home, you thin out the back end of the defense, and you rush 3 or 4, and you don't get home, and then they got to hold up on the back end. So something that we continue to evaluate constantly. Trying to find ways to disrupt the other team's offense, and just keep working towards it.
Pretty coach speak answer there from Zach. The defense has been an issue all year. They were banking on Geno Stone being the fix on the back end and being what Jesse Bates was for them. He was an interception hog a year ago for the Ravens. That just hasn't happened. Their corners have not lived up to the expectation of what they were capable of. And so the margin of error is gone too. Here are their 3 wins, and this is what is, I think, most concerning if you are a Bengals fan. Their 3 wins are against some of the worst teams in the league. At Carolina, at the Giants, at Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Those are the 3 wins. They have not equated well when talent equates. Go ahead.
So
Reese.
they've not won a game at home?
0-4 at home.
I think that's the most damning thing, for me at least.
That's not ruling the jungle.
No.
Not at all. No.
Not at all.
The one that is, they lost stupefyingly, I'm not even sure if that's a word, to New England at home in week 1, 16-10. And everybody said, oh, yeah, that's just the Bengals. They're slow starters. Then Burrow had remember how keyed up he was for at Kansas City. And there was a kind of a brutal call at the end of that one, but they lost. And then post game, he was like, "I'm sick of it." Okay, then they lose again to the Commies and Jane Daniels. That was the Jane Daniels coming out party. Then they get off the schneid, and you say, "Okay, let's win a couple." Lose one to the Ravens that you can't lose. They're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter of that game, and lose to Baltimore 41-38. Then you get a little right by beating the Giants, a little bit more right by beating Cleveland. The offense really hasn't been the same since the Ravens game. I mean, they scored 17 against the Giants, 21 against the Browns, 17 against the Eagles. So they haven't quite been the same there. I just don't know if the Brown family, are they a fire the coach family? I think we know the answer to that. They're not. They'll ride this thing out. I mean, how many seasons did Marvin Lewis get down there? They're not going to pay you not to coach. That's just not what they do. And I don't even know if you can fire Zach anyway. I do think you have to do something. We were at this point a couple of weeks ago with the Browns, Reese, when we said, look, it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose and not do anything to try to change it. Now, the injury to Deshaun Watson forced that change. I have to think the change to Ken Dorsey was going to happen one way or another. No inside information on that. Just curious if it would have one way or another. We'll never know. But at some point, the Bengals have to do something to shake this up. You cannot just keep doing the same thing over and over every single Sunday and expect a different result. This is their stretch here. And we said they really needed to go. They need to be 4. Well, at the time we were saying they needed to be 4-5 through 9, and that would take them winning their next, or not 4. What was it? Was 5-4 is what we were hoping for. So they can't get that. So they got the next stretch for them is the Raiders at home Sunday, then they're at Baltimore on a short week, and then at Chargers coming off of the mini bye. So that's where they stand at this point. That's their next 3. Then it's Pittsburgh, it's Dallas, at Dallas. And so forth and so on. So you just got to be around 500 and get to the dance. That's really all they have to do. Just get to the dance. But there are major issues there, and I do think you need to see some changes.
I just Dan Pitcher's in his first season as Bengals offensive coordinator, so I don't know exactly if that becomes the fix. I get it for people who want Zach Taylor shipped out of town. It ain't going to happen this season. It might happen after the season if they fall flat on their face. And then that 3-game stretch they have at the end, Browns, Broncos, Steelers.
Yeah.
But before then, I don't see exactly what can be changed. It feels like, and I wasn't confident saying this last Thursday, but now with the Browns kind of having some life with Jameis Winston, they're probably not doing a bunch of selling at the deadline.
I think the Browns, and we'll talk to them at length in the next hour. I think the Browns right now, the best way to describe them is 1 foot in 2024 and 1 foot in 2025.
I don't love that. But for the Bengals, they might have to be buyers at the deadline to see if this can be salvaged at all.
Yes, they're all in. They have to be all in because this incarnation of them, that T. Higgins won't be there next year. Dom Tiberi coming up next. Little Tuesdays with Tiberi, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Sunday, a day of rest, relaxation, and Browns football. Catch the Brownies as they battle the Chargers.
Live coverage starts Sunday at 11 with the Kick It One.
Your Central Ohio home for Browns football, The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Check out this sale on red, green, or black seedless grapes. Right now, they're just 99 cents a pound with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Skyline is serving up special Halloween ways made with orange noodles this Wednesday and Thursday only. Stop in for Skyline Halloween ways or pick them up and take them home. October 30th and 31st only at participating Skyline restaurants while supplies last.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
It's Rocktober, baby!
It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Jeremy Foltz, CEO and co-founder of 3C Technology Solutions, speaks about working with First Bank of Central Ohio.
I think FBCO had a really nice personal touch. Transition was really easy and much cleaner than I thought it would be. Some very specific things that made me very excited to work with them are availability and creativity.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
All right, it is a Tuesday at 10:30. Time to chat with our good buddy, Uncle Dom, who I chatted with on the field. Despite your best efforts to get me banned from the field, I did get down there.
I like seeing you there, and I'll tell you what, you look good with the family. You're like the all-American group. Everyone's pointing at you and going, there, your youngest. What a hair! What a set of hair that young man has.
Well, as they get older, they like that mop like in their face. All the older kids are doing, which I can't stand. So
I know. I asked you're older. I said, have you seen the barber lately?
That's right. Yeah, that's NBC. I go, well, he was the coach when you and I were at Channel 10. That's all. He was born all the way back in 11. So, but Bootsy still allows for a nice hair off the forehead look.
Yeah, look good.
He was ready. There's a picture that I got of the three of us. You and I are talking, and he is looking up at you in wonderment. It is a spectacular photo. I'll have to remember to share it with you.
Yeah, he looked at me like, who is this man? What is wrong with this man?
Yeah, it was awesome.
A beautiful family. Absolutely beautiful. It was great seeing you. I enjoy Tuesday so much coming on with you, but I enjoyed because we were like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. What we did on Facebook 10 years ago, we were ahead of our time.
We were. I think it's a lot like like a lot of the YouTube creators now are just doing. Like this for the folks out there. Up until the last probably 15 years, there was, if you're going to be like on television, there was a standard of production that was required. And then all of a sudden it was like, actually, you don't need to have that standard production. We just really just need to see it. And so you and I off of your phone.
Yeah.
We started doing, I think we called it Off the Wall.
Off the Wall.
Yeah. And we would just go around 10 TV and mess with people.
It was the geese, all
that.
All the stuff. We talked to the guy that was in charge of maintenance in the building, and we'd question him, and it was a lot of fun. And then we even took it on the road a little bit. Some of the things we did. We just went off the rails, like our drive to Pittsburgh when we were in the back seat and Mr. Klug was driving us. We were like being in a limousine.
Yeah, the Kaiser driving us.
Yeah.
The Kaiser almost fought a policeman on horseback at the Rose Bowl once. So
yes,
you had to keep.
We took out the tuba section of the Ohio State marching band. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. He was also going to fight. He was courting your wife. Remember at the bar from Swingers?
Yeah. What was the name of that place?
Because
Rob Coons wanted to. So we go in there. This is a true story. So we're in there with this guy. And I'll never forget, after we went, we took my wife. Remember, we went all over Hollywood, and we were outside Frank Sinatra's old house and Dean Martin.
Oh, yeah.
We were all over the place. People are looking at us like, who are these guys?
The Dresden.
Yeah, the Dresden. And so we got done with the night, and we get back with my wife, and she goes, that Klug guy, he's a little different, isn't he? I go, why? Right. What do you mean? She goes, he's standing there, and he was drinking. What was he drinking? What are you drinking?
Ordered it. We were at the Dresden in Los Angeles on a Saturday night, which if you've seen the movie Swingers, it's pretty infamous, like lounge bar, right? Like a Hollywood lounge bar.
Right.
And so we ordered Scotch on the rocks or
not him,
old fashioned, whatever. He orders a Bloody Mary.
Yes.
At like 11 o'clock.
He's drinking. And so
got the full salad bar. Got celery and asparagus and bacon. I'm like, what is going on?
And my wife goes, he leaned over to me and he just said, I think I could take everyone in this bar. I don't think there's anyone that could mess with me. And
I wasn't going to prove him wrong.
And I'm going, okay, well, you know how he was. And
I do, yeah.
But that night was one of the greatest nights.
It was amazing.
It was fabulous.
It was.
Me and you run around in Hollywood.
L.A.
Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
Having the time of our lives.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You and I talked on your Facebook Live on Saturday.
Yes.
And you talked about an angry team.
Yes.
Did you see one?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I saw.
Yeah.
This was the weird part. And you were in the stands, so you heard it.
I was. Yep.
The game has changed.
Yeah.
And it's never going back. And I haven't heard boos in Ohio Stadium in a long time. And that was very weird. I will say this. They butchered the targeting call. I don't like people throwing stuff on the field. That's ridiculous. Don't be that. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
It was a bad call. Ryan Day was fired up and whatever, but it was, Bo, that was a weird game. It had a weird vibe. I know Coach Day was expecting an angry team to come out. He had warned us that Nebraska was not going to be the same Nebraska. They got ripped by Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, the defense gave up some explosive plays again. I think when it mattered, they were able to make the stops to preserve the victory. They won it in the fourth quarter. That interception was huge. But the other thing is, the offensive line's banged up. They had no running game.
None.
And, the passing game was there. But I don't know what to think. I was expecting these guys to come out with their hair on fire and light them up. I thought Ryan Day was expecting that.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen, did it?
No, and I think the one thing you're going to find out Saturday what you're all about.
Yeah,
like, that's a talent equate game. That's a place is a cauldron. You're going to see what that's all about. I guess normally, and I'm curious where you land on this. Usually at this point in a season, I have a pretty good idea about what the team's made of.
Right.
And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about toughness. I'm just like, all right, these are the follow me to freedom guys. These are the leaders. These guys they got the team by the throat. This is the identity. I went into this preseason and much of the early season thinking this was going to be a team that was going to line up and run it down your throat with those two backs. And I came away Saturday walking out, buddy, and I said, you know what? I think if this team's going to accomplish its goals, it's going to be throwing the football. And it flipped. And I did not see that coming. And I don't know what the identity of this team is right now.
And I agree with you. And to me, that's troublesome at this point of the year. And I'm sure that's what's keeping Ryan Day and Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles up late at night because, you think you have something and you're expecting something and then it doesn't come.
Yeah.
And that was a scary game on Saturday. I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, I mean, you couldn't quit watching it.
No.
But I mean, this is the same team that just got mopped the week before by Indiana.
Yeah.
Now, I watched Indiana again. I'm going to tell you what. Everybody keeps saying, oh, Indiana's. Hey, that team is rolling. And, Bo, half the battle is believing.
Yeah.
More than half the battle. And Indiana believes. Their coach, that guy reminds me of someone that is Urban Meyer and Earl Bruce and Woody Hayes all in one. I mean, when you hear that guy talk.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't like the media. He doesn't like being I mean, this dude is something else. And the buy-in factor is through the roof at Indiana. They think they can beat anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. Injuries are a great equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought the offensive line was playing great. And then you lose a guy like Josh Simmons, who I thought was playing outstanding. And, they're banged up. You got to be able to run the ball, though, in this league. You got to be able to run the ball here in November. And if they are only able to get 64 yards, and if they are only able to go 1 of 10 on third down, it's going to be a rough November. You got to be able to do that stuff. And Ryan Day knows that. Chip Kelly knows that. You say throw the football. You don't know what kind of weather you're going to get in November. We'll see.
No, it's all real.
It's all. The one thing I do like is Will Howard after the game. I talked to him, and I love what this kid said to me. He's not shy about it. He said, this is the game, he said, his whole life he's been waiting for, to go to Happy Valley and play in that stadium. Here's a Pennsylvania kid, and he called it like it is. He says, they didn't feel like I was good enough to go there, and now this is my chance to go in. And so I love the fact that and you know what? He may have to be the guy that takes this team. And, I can't think of a better guy to stand up and say, listen, I'm leading you guys. Let's go.
Yeah, I think he's doing. Yeah, I think so as well. I got about 30 seconds. What are the grandbabies being for Halloween? Fellas, what are we going to be?
Well, we went to this thing the other day, and Luciano is going to be Bluey.
God, Bluey's so great.
And Gio is Sonic. And I took them. If you guys want to see something ridiculous, I posted it on my Facebook. They have this thing in Dublin. Remember Trunk or Treat?
Yeah,
that thing
of course. Yep.
So Papa Dom and the two boys, we went there, and I dressed up like, I play a clown in real life, so I dressed up like a clown. You should see me. I look like an idiot.
All right.
A complete idiot. Just a complete idiot.
I wanted you to be Luca Brasi.
Well.
That's what I was.
Well. Just when you think you're out there.
You and I will do it together one time. I'll go as Maltasanti.
Yeah.
You go as Sil, and we'll get Moose to be Tony.
Chrissy's a good kid. Chrissy's a good kid.
Yeah. Chrissy's a good kid.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
I'll see you, buddy. Great family. You are blessed.
I believe so as well. Great talking to you and seeing you as always.
See you, buddy.
All right, we'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas where you'll compete for the grand prize. A trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Sunday at Yogi's Bar and Grill in Dublin. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. watching the Browns take on the Bengals and giving you a shot at the Super Bowl, courtesy of Bud Light.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Islanders. Live fan coverage starts Wednesday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Blue Jackets hockey, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Get all your holiday shopping done in just one stop with early holiday deals at Meijer. Save big this week on gifts for everyone. For the competitive ones on your list, select puzzles and board games are buy 2, get 1 free. Share the sense of the season with Yankee Candle products. Buy 1, get 1 for $1. And for those who believe that bigger is always better, save $200 on an Element 65-inch Zumo TV. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If your fall is anything like the people in my neighborhood, your weekends are full of driving kids to endless soccer things. So if you're going to be on the road, be as comfortable as possible. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend a new Lexus. That's not true, but I recommend it. Deal time, 2.99% finance rate on a 2024 RX. That's madness. 4.49% finance rate for a 2025 NX. And you can get up to $5,000 lease cash for a 2024 RX. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
The Big Ten's being asked to investigate Saturday's post-game scuffle at the Big House between Michigan State players and Michigan players. Following the Wolverines' final kneel-down of a 24-17 win, Michigan State defensive lineman Anthony Jones and Michigan tight end Colston Loveland engaged in a scuffle, bringing both teams to the middle of the field as the clock expired. Video appeared to show Michigan running back Kalel Mullings and other Wolverines engaged with the Michigan State personnel who were on the turf. MSU's Jonathan Smith said Monday, quote, I haven't thoroughly looked at every angle and all of that. It was a lot of bodies out there. Yes, we had a staff member that was in the fray of it and a player that was in the fray of it, and that's what we're hoping the Big Ten is looking into, end quote. Michigan coach Sharon Moore on Monday called the post-game skirmish unacceptable. He said any potential discipline will be handled internally, adding, quote, that's not how we represent the University of Michigan, the Block M, or the winged helmet, so we'll take care of that. That will never happen again, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
I kind of like this.
Yes.
I kind of like it when a couple of teams that don't like each other, it gets personal at the end. You don't need to see coaches involved in it, but I don't mind it a little bit. It's funny if there several of the Ohio State hype videos through the year in the lead up to the game show those skirmishes that happen, whether they be at midfield or in the tunnel at Michigan Stadium, where they absurdly have both teams come out of the same tunnel, and they're iconic moments of that rivalry. That's part of it. So, look, this didn't seem to go too far out of bounds. I don't believe either coach saying that this will never happen again. That's what you say publicly. Behind closed doors, my guess is Sharon Moore was like, my team has a pulse. That's my guess. So I'm going to say all of what they said, not a thing. I kind of like that it happened. I think it's okay.
I couldn't agree with you more on every single front. It is so refreshing to see that true hatred still exists in sports.
Yeah.
In this era of jersey swapping and hanging out with guys on different teams in the offseason and posting pictures and everyone liking to feel cool and having cool people follow them on social media and stuff, it is really nice to see that there is still a place in this universe, in this sports universe, where true hatred still exists. And this is one in a long line recently of feuds between these two. You can go back to 2018, Devin Bush tearing up the Spartan logo at midfield. You can go back a couple of years ago to, as Bo just alluded to, in this same tunnel in Michigan. That one got kind of a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, that was out of hand.
A little bit too far, but I love in-state rivalries like this. Auburn, Alabama would be another one, but not necessarily as vitriolic as at least we can't see it. But I love that this stuff still exists because there ain't much of it anymore.
Speaking with reporters Monday, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy was asked about Trayvon Diggs getting into it with a reporter following their loss Sunday to the San Francisco 49ers.
I think that's clearly an example of frustration, but I think we have to be better in those moments. I always talk about staying on the high road. It's part of our responsibility in this business. But I'm not ignorant or naive to the fact that this generation, that's part of the world they live in. The social media world, and you have to manage that. That's part of being a professional athlete, and that's part of representing this organization properly.
Thing or not a thing?
All right, just so the audience is aware if they missed what happened here, there was a reporter. Reese, you had this yesterday in Thing or Not a Thing, I believe, in terms of what actually happened, or we discussed it. It is a reporter who covers the Cowboys who tweeted something very negative about Trayvon Diggs. Diggs then tweeted back at him, and then it escalated into the locker room to the point where Diggs said, "I'll meet you in the corner," and then said something that we can't say on the radio to him. So this is kind of where I'm at with this, and it's hard because I'm a man. I'm 40, and I'm going to deal with this with my kids. You don't have to respond to everything that people come at you with on social. And when you decide to get into this arena, and by this arena I mean public life, whether it's politics or sports talk hosts or athletes or whatever, if you're going to do that, and even if you're like a content creator, and you're going to put yourself out there, you are now allowing the world at large to have access to your psyche. And you have to be very careful with that. And you have to be able to manage that. And my message to Mike, mine would be the same as Mike McCarthy's. I don't see eye to eye with him on a lot, but I think he's right on this. Like, there's no gain for Diggs to go down this road. It only looks bad on him. There was no good for Kevin Durant to go down the road of having a burner account defending himself on social. It's now on his resume. Just don't give them access to you like that. And I know that's harder than it is to say, to do, or to practice, but that's really got to be the way you got to go about it if you're going to sign up for a public life in the world we're in now.
I'm going to say not a thing because I don't think there will be any repercussions for this whatsoever. I think it's a one-time thing. I don't think Trayvon Diggs will be stupid enough to make this mistake again. And I'm sure Michael, why am I being so formal? I'm sure Mike McCarthy will say something to him, and that'll be that. But, yeah, to the larger point about social media habits, look, I'm quite sure Trayvon Diggs didn't aspire to be an NFL player because he wanted to be a celebrity who plays football. I think he kind of wanted to play football, and then it just so happens that the NFL is so popular that it turns you into a celebrity. And so, not everybody gets into it with that mindset, but yeah, if you're a public figure, and this goes for us too, like, we're not celebrities, but we're public figures. Like, people are going to say stuff to you on social media. You got to know how to play the game, or else you're going to embarrass yourself like he just did.
Yeah, and worse than that even, you're going to put undue stress on yourself by allowing it. Like, you have to be able to stay above it and ignore it. And it's hard. It's really hard.
On Monday, Ohio State's Bruce Thornton was named to the 20-member 2025 Bob Cousy Award watch list. The annual Bob Cousy Award, named after the class of 1971 Hall of Famer and former Boston Celtics and Holy Cross guard Bob Cousy, celebrates his 22nd year by highlighting the top point guard in Division I men's college basketball. Also yesterday, Ohio State junior forward Cody McMahon was named to the 2024-2025 Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy Women's College Player of the Year watch list. Thing or not a thing?
Happy for both. I'm very curious to see what it looks like. So last year, Thornton was 15-7 and just under 5 assists a game is what his averages were last year. I think for Ohio State to win, and I haven't dug in on them yet because we haven't gotten there, but if this Ohio State basketball team is going to be in the mix in the Big Ten and an NCAA tournament team, which they should be, if that's the case, I would think that those point numbers would come down and those assist numbers would come up. So I think that's what you're looking for him. Cody McMahon's a stud. Like, legit. So she's got a chance. That women's college basketball is pretty loaded this year at the top of it, but she could definitely be in the mix for All-American. National Player of the Year is going to be really tough because Juju's back at USC, Beckers is back at UConn, so those teams are pretty loaded. But happy for both those guys for getting that type of notoriety and accolades. All right, final hour of the program up next. We will blitz the NFL. Nate Davis of USA Today will join us, and the Browns turning to Jameis Winston, but for how long and what took so long? We'll get to it all coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
APCO Windows, Siding, and Decks is a family company my dad started in 1962. We don't rely on sales gimmicks, so get multiple estimates. Just make sure one of them is from APCO. Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO. APCO.com.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here, and we all know consistency is key in sports. Think about it. No matter how many points you put up in one game, it's the team that stays consistent that ends up winning a championship. The problem? Consistency is hard. For years, that's how I felt about my weight. I'd start strong, but could never stay the course. Then I found Awaken 180 weight loss, and now consistency isn't just a word, it's my reality. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. After dropping 12 pounds in my first week, I went on to lose 52 pounds total. Lost weight every week. Since then, the scoreboard has read the same every single month. October, 189 pounds. September, 189 pounds. August, 190. Okay, maybe a pound off. July, 189. The weight just stays off, and for free. Awaken 180 clients don't pay a dime in free maintenance for life. It's like free oil changes for the rest of your life. If you're looking for results that last, do what we all did and choose the solution for weight loss. It's online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of the Penn, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, the Penn is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards RealFit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 4 Ohio State is a 3.5-point road favorite this Saturday at number 3 Penn State. Buckeyes have won 9 of the last 10 in the series, including a 20-12 win last year in Columbus. Ohio State's Ryan Day will hold his weekly press conference today at noon. We'll carry those comments live on the Fen when he hits the podium. Coach Day will also join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 for a special Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. Tonight in Old Columbus Town, the Crew begin their defense of MLS Cup, hosting the New York Red Bulls. It's game 1 of their first-round best-of-3 playoff series. Kickoff 6:45 from Lower.com Field. In the Bronx tonight, the Dodgers can win the World Series with a win over the Yankees in Game 4. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets beat the Oilers 6-1 on Monday. Jackets are back on home ice Wednesday, hosting the New York Islanders. This update sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition. Nate Davis, USA Today, coming up in about 30 minutes from now. Time to blitz the NFL. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
All right, I believe I had that, Cole. What did you have this week in the NFL?
I believe I had that Russell Wilson was better than Justin Fields. When you watch the two, it's noticeable. I know the 4-2 record with Justin Fields. Oh, how could they bench a 4-2 Justin Fields? Watch the games. They don't look the same. Russell Wilson looks better. And he is. There's still a little bit of life left in his career. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't even know if it's going to last all of this season. But for now, there is a stark difference watching those two play quarterback.
I think I said it at the beginning of the season. probably week 2. I think the scuttlebutt died down after week 2 with Travis Kelce. Like, is he focused? Is he coming into this season, after doing so much in the offseason with Taylor Swift, with all of the commercials? I mean, you see him and his brother Jason on every other ad on your NFL Sundays. But when the Kansas City Chiefs need him, he's there. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. There hasn't been a doubt in my mind of Travis Kelce when they need a play to be made. I mean, he led him in receptions, led him in reception yards, and he had a touchdown. Chiefs are 7-0. And there's in a large part because of the football wizard and Patrick Mahomes. But when you need a play, you can still count on Kelce.
100%. You can. I believe I had that the Detroit Lions are a wagon. Like, they are going about NFL football games like they are a college football powerhouse. Like they're 95 Nebraska. They are just burying people. I saw that line last week. It was 11. 11. You say, my God, 11? Yeah. Throw them. Throw the points, man. They are awesome. They are, I don't know if it's sustainable, but what they do week in and week out is unbelievable, and Campbell has them by the throat. They're real ones. What didn't you have, Cole?
I did not have the Bengals losing as badly as they did. In fact, I thought that they were going to win against the Eagles. You know, silly me, now that I know that we've covered that the Bengals haven't won at home, that they're not ruling the jungle, maybe I should have expected that, but I kind of thought that the Eagles were playing up a little bit, and I thought this would be a good game to kind of come to the realization, you know what, the Eagles aren't all that. And I thought the Bengals were going to be the team to do that. And, maybe the score looks a little bit worse because Zach Taylor had that ridiculous 4th down call deep in his own territory when he didn't need to. It kind of got out of hand late, but I really thought the Bengals were going to step up in this one, and they did not.
Bo, you did exceptional this week against the house, 10-6. You're 65-58 overall. I was 7-9. Not great. 72-51 overall. I did not have a Hail Mary working in an NFL game to make my record a little bit better. 7-9 looks a lot better than 6-10. So what the hell? Thank you for that, Washington Commanders.
I did not have Reeser beneath 500.
Yeah, we don't do that around here. That's not how he does it.
I'll be better next week, I promise.
Yeah, he'll be back. Cole mentioned Cincinnati. We've talked about them a lot. That was my biggest miss. I had them winning, and they lost by 20. But another one that I really got wrong was Miami. I had them covering against Arizona in the return of Tua. Not only did they not cover, they lost outright. Arizona being frisky again. They're a hard team to figure out. But what I think was most stunning was how Miami just was not explosive. Tyreek Hill was 6 of 72, so it wasn't as bad as it was the other guys, but Waddle was 4 of 45. They just did not get big plays the way that they're used to, and at 2-5 which is a stunning disappointment for that Miami team. Player who impressed the most, Cole, who do you got?
I'm going to go with George Kittle. 6 catches, 128 and a score. Pretty impactful watching that Sunday Night Football game against Dallas. Turned back the clock a little bit. Looked like the George Kittle about 5 years ago or whatever. But, hey, if you get over 20 yards per catch, that's a lot for a tight end. He had a pretty good day on National Tight Ends Day.
As a Browns fan, I was very impressed with Jameis Winston, but it wasn't because of his play. Some say that Jameis Winston isn't very aware. I disagree. If you've seen his pump-up speech before the Browns went out and beat the Ravens, he told his teammates to play for the name on your helmet or play for the logo on your helmet. Then he caught himself and realized, we don't have a logo on our helmet. But you understand the message, and they understood the assignment and got a win for Cleveland in honor of the late, great Jim Donovan.
Yeah, he's fun. He certainly is fun. We'll talk a little bit more about Jameis coming up in a second. TJ Watt, we talked about that a little bit, so not to repeat, but it's just amazing how when they need it in the worst way, he's there. I'm going to give you passer rating the last 5 games out for a quarterback. 113.6, 155.8, 153.8, 140, and 129.9. Here are the completion percentages for the same quarterback in this 5-game stretch. 78.3, 100, 72, 88, 80. Name the quarterback.
Oh, God. 100?
Jared Goff.
Oh, man.
It's about
Jared
Stafford.
Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff. What are you talking about? 8, 14. He's got 14 touchdowns and 1 pick over his last 5. His lowest quarterback rating is 113.6. He's got 2 over 150, another over 140. His lowest completion percentage in that stretch is 72%. we need to start talking about him as an MVP candidate. He deserves it. And his level of play is stunning. He's even better against the blitz. Do not blitz him. Do not. I dare you. It won't go well for you. Player who disappointed, Cole, who do you got?
I got Jalen McMillan. I liked him as a receiver at Washington, part of that very exciting offense from Washington last year with the Buccaneers. And I thought with the injuries to Evans and Godwin that he could maybe step up and have a really big day as a rookie, and he just did not. 4 catches for 35 yards. Pretty ineffective, and somebody who I kind of liked coming into the NFL this year.
I mean, nobody had a worse Sunday than Tyreek Stevenson, Bears defensive back. But I'm going to give it to Ravens defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike, who said after the Browns beat Baltimore on Sunday, quote, "The fact we didn't stop the Browns from scoring, it hurts a little bit. It hurts a little bit, but hey, what can you do? The game is over. Kudos to the Browns. They played a good game and they won. Congratulations to them, but we know who should have really won that game," end quote. Well, the team that won the game won the game. Doesn't matter who should win the game. A team won the game. Your team did not. Loser.
This is too easy, but I just think it's a real shame how far down the road Aaron Rodgers has gone towards unlikable. And I don't think he cares about any of it, but like there was a time where he was as much fun as you could have watching somebody play quarterback. And some of it's because of the injury, obviously, but just the way everything is going with him. You just wonder if he'll even be viewed the same when this is all over, just because of the way that this flameout is happening in New York. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Cole, who do you got?
At risk of just saying what you guys are probably going to say too, I mean, Dan Campbell.
No, I'm going with Andy Reid. They're 7-0. Like there have been other phenomenal coaching. There have been great coaching jobs done in the league, but
they won by 38.
His is perfect. Yeah, the record though is what I'm going off of.
There's a lot of ways to go here. I went Campbell, too, just because of the way that his operation is showing up every single week and just absolutely dominating people. It's just stunning what they're able to do week to week and how dominant they are week to week. I also think Sean McVay deserves a little bit of praise. This was last Thursday, but salvaging that season and keeping it above water, now all of a sudden that Rams team kind of in the mix in the postseason, so good job out of him as well. Top 3, who are your top 3 teams, Cole?
I got the Chiefs because, of course, the Lions, and a team with 4 blowouts this year, the Bills.
I'm the exact same.
I have the same as well. I think
same
those
teams,
are the 3.
Same order.
Yeah, I think those are the same teams as well. I thought about moving. I thought about moving the Chiefs, the Lions ahead of the Chiefs, but I just kept it that same way just because undefeated has to matter. So I think those are the teams. But I do think Detroit, the only thing I'm curious about with Detroit, guys, is this level sustainable? Can you play with hair on fire like this? I mean, it is. We are 7 games in. You have 10 regular season games left. There's going to be ebbs and flows. Can you keep it at that level where you're biting off people's kneecaps every single week?
While missing your best defensive player.
Right, yeah. Well, they'll be active, I think, at the deadline. I think they address that in some way, but there's no true replacement. All right, Super Bowl this week, Cole. Who do you got?
I swore that I would never pick against the Chiefs until they lost, so I have to pick the Chiefs over the Lions, but Lord, I'd like to flip that.
I would too. I would love it if there were to be a team I could confidently say has surpassed the Kansas City Chiefs. I cannot at this point.
I'll just say this. Can you imagine a Lions-Bills Super Bowl?
I want that.
Can you imagine those 2 towns? Is it New Orleans?
Pretty sure.
Oh my God! I got a soft spot in my heart for New Orleans. I cannot imagine that operation down there. That would be nuts. That's the one I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Lions and Bills. I think that gives you everything, and those 2 fan bases would absolutely take over any Super Bowl venue, and it's in play. Both of those teams are good enough to do just that. But, of course, they got to beat the Wizard, and that's always a very, very tall task. So the Browns got an emotional win. Now what? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Join me on Tuesday, November 12th, High Bank in Grandview. We're going to celebrate the release of our exclusive High Bank 97.1 The Fan whiskeys. Each barrel hand-selected by yours truly. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com, benefiting our friends at the Third and Goal Foundation.
Skyline is serving up special Halloween ways made with orange noodles this Wednesday and Thursday only. Stop in for Skyline Halloween ways or pick them up and take them home. October 30th and 31st only at participating Skyline restaurants while supplies last.
Hey, it's Common Man and T-Bone. We've got an appearance coming up at our favorite place to do all our banging, Hollywood Casino Columbus.
We're going to be live Friday, November 1st at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside the casino for the top 5 matchup in Happy Valley.
Plus, you can win tickets to the big college football game in Columbus, featuring our friends from the Hoosier State on November 23rd. We're giving those away this Friday.
The key is Friday. Come, or you're dead to us. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Did you know we have another station? More Buckeyes, more play-by-play, more everything.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2. Or listen on the Fan app.
Your home for almost too much football. The Fan.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating COTA Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Just when you think we're in fall, we are back to summer. Near record high temperatures today with a high of 80 in Columbus. Look for plenty of clouds out there today. Dry but partly cloudy on Wednesday with a high of 80. And then tracking rain and wind just in time for Thursday evening. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
We encourage you to join us for an unforgettable evening on Tuesday, November 12th at High Bank Distillery in Grandview. Thrilled to invite you to the release of our exclusive fan barrel picks. These are my picks. They're 3 great ones. We worked hard on these. 3 very distinct bottles, 3 very distinct barrels, something for everyone. I think the cigar cask one is going to blow your mind. Proceeds benefit Brady Quinn's Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Enjoy exclusive barrel picks, including those delicious food pairings, live music, and a meet and greet with select athletes. Bobby's going to be there, AJ, Brady. See if we can get some other luminaries there as well. For tickets and more information, head to 971thefan.com. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. It was an emotional Sunday in Cleveland with that team playing the day after the loss of longtime play-by-play voice Jim Donovan, who you hear here on the Fan through the years. And there is no question that was the overwhelming takeaway, and appropriately, from the game on Sunday. There were just too many improbable things that happened for not to give credit where it was due from above, because you're talking about Kyle Hamilton dropping the easiest interception he probably has been thrown in his career. And I'm saying all the way back to second grade. Second grade safeties make that interception. Jameis might as well have just feathered it to him. And he caught it and dropped it and caught it and dropped it all in the same play. Rashard Bateman dropped a ball in the sun, lost it in the sun, and tripped and fell. They had a doink in on a field goal. Baltimore had a doink out. So just every sort of mystical thing that could happen did. And it was one of the most emotional Sundays that you would ever have at an NFL stadium. There is a relationship between a play-by-play voice and its community and its towns, and we saw it last year with Rims here, right? Like he was the voice. When you think of the Blue Jays, you think of Jeff Rimmer, and Jim was that there, and even from the standpoint of it being the Browns there. And for the longest time, it was him and Joe Thomas. Those are the only positives that you could say. These are the things you could count on, was Joe Thomas playing left tackle at an elite level and Jim Donovan broadcasting at elite level. So all of those things are what that game will be remembered by. But there were other things in that game as well that happened on the field, and that was the play of Jameis Winston. Now, you were coming off of the change at coordinator from Stefanski to Dorsey. Watching it, and even watching it back on the All-22, it was the same offense that Deshaun Watson was asked to run. It was the same stuff. The difference was Jameis threw the ball, and he threw it down the field, and he gave his guys a chance. Now, there were 2 or 3 that could have been picked, including the one to Hamilton that would have been the end of the game, quite honestly, if he just holds on to it. But he also gave his guys a chance. So it's not a coincidence that Cedric Tillman, who they liked a lot coming out of Tennessee, looked like the player they drafted him to be in this game. 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. Okay, that's what it was supposed to look like. Elijah Moore, they gave up a second-round pick to acquire Elijah Moore from the Jets, and he looked like the Elijah Moore that they thought they were going to acquire. 8 catches in the game. Jerry Jeudy had 70 yards receiving. Like, they were able to spread it around because Jameis had trust in the offense, and he threw it and gave his receivers a chance. We're going to get to the why and the how of it in a second, but here is Kevin Stefanski, who was available yesterday on Winston's play.
I thought he played well. I thought the protection was outstanding all day. I thought the guys really took the challenge of that, and I thought he got through his reads, and the guys got open. He made good decisions. Wasn't perfect. No, he's not going to play perfect. I'm not going to coach perfect, but I thought he played well.
Did you guys happen to notice who was playing left tackle for Cleveland on Sunday? Thanos.
It was DeJuan, wasn't it?
Yep. So they moved DeJuan from right to left so that Jack could play right. I don't need to see Jedrick Wills probably play anymore for the Browns. I think if DeJuan Jones can play left tackle, and he was good. Probably needs a little bit of help in run blocking, but that's always been the case. But in pass blocking, he was really good and better than anything they'd gotten at left tackle to this point in the season. So that shorted up a lot. A couple other housekeeping things. Denzel Ward, concussion protocol number 6 for him, which is, you heard Tyvis yesterday talking about what 6 usually means in terms of the severity. I did talk to some people who saw him post-game Sunday, and he was just like he was normal Denzel. So I don't know. Certainly not a brain surgeon. I have neurosurgeon. I have no idea how you do the concussion thing, but I know that they have the best on it, and they're not going to let him play if he doesn't pass the tests that are required, and he has to have a decision if he wants to keep going on as well, because he's at this point certainly beyond concussion prone. JOK is going to be probably a game time, a scary moment for him on Sunday as well. Nick Chubb, now 2 games in, gets through another one healthy, so that's a very, very positive thing. The logical question would be, why did it take so long on Winston? Why was there this sense that it had to be Watson every week? And that is something that only they can answer, what that was about. My hunch is that there was something that they still believed that Watson could become, that until they knew for sure, they had to keep trying. Now, many of you out there were saying, well, we knew for sure here. We knew for sure here. And I think that that's probably the answer to it. I get it. I understand the frustration of it. Here's the thing that Winston provides, though. He provides something that looks very similar to Flacco last year. Let's have fun. Let's throw it down the field. Let's give receivers a chance. Let's win some games. We might throw some pick sixes. Who knows? But let's start driving the ball down the field and having a little bit of fun. And so I think for Browns fans, where you're coming off of a week where players are warring with fans and all of those things, now all of a sudden it's like you have the emotional tributes to Jim, win one for Jim, all of those things. They did. It was a must-win for them. If they lose, the tone is entirely different. It's just sadness. And instead it turns into a celebration because they win. And I think what you can sign up for is a very fun team to watch here in the second half of the season once they get there. I think the Browns will have one foot in 2024, another one in 2025 going forward. As long as Winston keeps winning, he'll keep playing. That's my hunch.
I don't know if I love that. As a Browns fan, it was wild last week to see Winston get everybody involved in the offense. You thought, like, this is what it's probably supposed to look like. It's what you saw with Joe Flacco at the end of last season. But for Cleveland, Sunday, they have the Los Angeles Chargers. When you talked about Denzel Ward, I was like, would they have put him on Ladd McConkey? Because that's going to be, like you like to say, a full day. Yeah. The Browns secondary. But it does give the fans and it does give the players kind of a reset with what was done last week, where you're able to kumbaya and come together over a tragedy, but you're really there to remember the legacy of a man who meant so much to everybody involved with that. And now you're able to just build. And so for this Sunday, when they do the introductions, it's that's our team. For the 2-6, to hell with it, because it's they're 0-0 as far as the weeks are concerned with Sunday against Los Angeles.
All right, this is the next 4. They're 2-6. Chargers at home Sunday. I think they're favorites. I thought I saw their favorites in that game. Then at Saints, who are falling off a cliff. So you have it. Are they favorites?
So right now, Los Angeles is 1.5.
Okay. So Chargers favored in Cleveland. Then at Saints, Steelers at home, at Broncos. It's not probable that this will happen, but it's possible. If they go 3-1 in that stretch, now you're 5-7, and now you're playing meaningful games in December. Now, December's brutal. It's at Steelers, Kansas City at home, at Bengals, Miami at home, at Ravens. So the reality is it's going to be very hard to track down a record that would get you into the postseason, but you can play interesting games in December, and you can have a little fun along the way. And that's a lot better than what you thought you were 10 days ago. So there are some positives on that side of things. We'll get a little perspective on what happened in Cleveland, what's happening in Cincinnati, and the league at large with Nate Davis of USA Today. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The
It's the Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass. Certainly easy to look back at how the defense helped play such a big part in the win over Nebraska. What were some of the things defensively that you liked the most coming out of that?
Yeah, I thought, coming off of the bye week, we made a big emphasis on TFL, sacks, getting more pressure on the quarterback, getting more towards the line of scrimmage with the guys on the perimeter, and then doing a great job winning the game in the fourth quarter, which we did. I thought we did a great job with the stand there when the ball was, after the interception, the ball was inside the 10-yard line, and we get a stop 4 plays in a row, get a stop on the 1-yard line. But then most of all, the way that we closed out the game on defense.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Ryan, and talking about the defense, and look at the way Cody Simon played in this game. I guess that kind of typifies what you expect out of a guy like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader of the defense, and he played that way on Saturday. Played with his hair on fire, was downhill, was making plays all over the field, and we're going to need that here against Penn State.
As a leader on defense, is reading what the opposing offense does a big part of that?
Oh, yeah, diagnosing what's going on and making sure that you're playing fast. And, they try to hit us with about 3 or 4 screens there in the fourth quarter, and he sniffed those things out, and those are big plays for us.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to head out on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Great friend of the program, Nate Davis, NFL at USA Today, joining us there. Nate, thanks so much for taking the time. All right, let's start with the local teams in the North. What did you make of what you saw Sunday in Cleveland, the switch to Jameis Winston, obviously the injury to Watson, a big part of that. What did it look like to you, and what do you think the Browns ought to do going forward?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the reminder was just, what a good football coach I think Kevin Stefanski generally is, and kind of what would things look like there if he really had more of a free hand, from the jump of any season as opposed to being shackled to Deshaun Watson every year, which we've talked about for years. Obviously, is not a good marriage with coach, scheme, and player there, but. The Browns are what 2-6 now.
2-6, yeah, 2-6.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough runway to have another salvage season the way Joe Flacco pulled it off last year. But I mean, Jameis Winston's play and to some degree personality, I think gives this team a shot in the arm, particularly given kind of what seems like the eggshell factor around Deshaun Watson from a locker room perspective. And we know the defense under Jim Schwartz is going to perform, but it kind of feels like a too little too late situation. But maybe this team is at least fun for the fans to watch again for the last half of the season.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, just be fun. And now potentially you can be if they play some meaningful games in December. That's probably a win at this point. Down 71 South, Nate, in Cincinnati, I was kind of under the assumption that they had turned the corner, and then they get housed by Philly. What do you make of a Cincinnati team that I don't know how you felt about them in the lead up to the season? I certainly felt like they were a Super Bowl contender. They don't look it.
I don't think so. I mean, to me, the kind of the issue is the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they can't really stop anybody. They're good enough to be in most games, but I mean, they don't really have a quality win, I think you'd say, on their resume. I mean, I think they're kind of good enough to lose, 31-35 most weeks. But I mean, it's remarkable. I think they had the highest third down conversion rate in the league all year on Sunday, 10-13 against Philadelphia, and they lose by 20. I mean, so which is also a factor that they can't stop anybody on third down as well. I think the Jamar Chase situation was a real problem at the beginning of the season. I mean, they should not have lost that opener to New England, and I think that might come back to haunt them. And I think they got more of a shot to get back into this than Cleveland does. But I mean, it does concern me that they're not really playing particularly well, even against bad teams. But at least they're probably viable. You think if they would beat the Raiders at home this week, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in Baltimore after that.
Nate, what did you make of what Mike Tomlin did at the time to remove Justin Fields, and now 2 games with Russ? They're 2-0. Fields was 4-2. There were some that were critical of the timing of the move with Fields' record, but Tomlin was pretty steadfast in his belief, and it looks like it's paying off.
Yeah, I've written a lot about this, actually, Bo. And I mean, I've kind of said all along that, to me, it doesn't make any sense not to have Justin Fields as the guy, particularly given how he started. But I mean, I wrote that in preseason. I mean, they're both free agents after this year. I mean, are you really build this team around Russell Wilson starting in 2025? I don't think so. So I think, to me, you make Justin Fields the guy, figure out what you have, and then you maybe give him a Baker Mayfield kind of contract after the season if it goes well. I think he's the way that Arthur Smith runs offense and whatnot. I think he's the better player for that team. That said, I have so much admiration for Mike Tomlin, and the way he quips about it, and the Lone Ranger comment. I think to a certain degree, this is working well in spite of itself in some areas. Russ is getting a lot of circus catches from these guys. They are getting more offense, but if you strip away the names last night, Bo, you see a quarterback that got sacked 4 times, fumbled the ball, and led a touchdown drive.
Yeah.
I mean, is he really? I mean, you're getting more out of the passing game. Yes, as fluky as some of these catches are with Russell Wilson, but you're not getting that element in the running game of a guy that can protect himself and make plays for you in the red area with his legs. So it's kind of a six to one, half dozen of the other. And I think, given that, the tiebreaker probably ought to go to the younger guy. But we're also going to find out more about this team after their bye when they finally play. I think they're the only team that hasn't played a division game yet, and stuff's about to get to real for them as well. But at least they're in a good spot through 8 games.
Yeah, they really are. Speaking of a good spot through 8 games, Jared Goff is almost perfect every week. I don't know that. I mean, they are too. I mean, they're just absolutely hammering people up in Detroit with Dan Campbell, and it's an incredible operation. But I did not see this coming from Goff in terms of his efficiency. What are you seeing with him and that offense, and why is it working so well?
Well, I mean, I think it's a beautifully constructed offense. I mean, it's built from the inside out, really, with the offensive line. Then you've got the best running back tandem in the league. Jameson Williams obviously suspended right now, but I mean, he's finally been the player this year that they needed him to be. Laporta's as good a tight end as anybody in the game, and Monroe St. Brown probably as good. I mean, there's really no weakness there. So I mean, you talk about game managers or surrounding your quarterback with playmakers. I mean, I literally don't know what more Jared Goff could ask for in terms of supporting cast, and then you throw in a head coach that likes to have fun with it, and an offensive coordinator that's a brilliant play designer. So I mean, the only thing lacking maybe is that Jared Goff isn't a guy that can make plays for you with his legs, really. But otherwise, what more do you want in an offense than this?
Yeah, it's checking every single box. Talking to the great Nate Davis, NFL at USA Today, one of the best in the business. You've been covering this league for a while, my friend. Have you ever seen something like what happened with Indianapolis over the weekend and Anthony Richardson pulling himself out of a game?
Honestly, I didn't pay that one a whole lot of mind on Sunday. But it also kind of happens in that early Sunday window, and a lot of stuff is going on, and it kind of registers. But I mean, my initial reaction to it was kind of like, oh, well, I guess generational difference. Younger player pulls himself out for a play. I mean, to some degree, I thought it showed some self-awareness that he couldn't go for that one play. I mean, he took a knee, and it was I thought maybe he'd been hit, and it was something other than being tired. But I've been kind of surprised by all the backlash that former players are sending him. I get the point that it only takes one play for a game to turn. I mean, you didn't need greater evidence than that the Commanders-Bears game. But I'd like to know more about the story. I mean, I appreciate the fact that Anthony Richardson, seemed to be upfront and honest about it, both in terms of, I need to take a play off, and then also answering the question after the game. I do wonder if there's more there to the story. It's complicated by the fact that this offense runs a lot better with Joe Flacco's in there than when he does. But obviously, again, you're not building this offense around Joe Flacco for the future. Be interested to see what his teammates maybe say about it tomorrow. But I think it's a little bit of a tempest in a teapot. But the optics I don't know are great. But he was honest about it, and I think give him a little credit too. I don't know. It's a weird one to me.
It's always one of those things, right? We want guys to be honest until we don't like their honesty. And then it's, then they get attacked for it. So it's always a tricky spot. Last one for you, my friend. As absolutely a stupefying victory as we've seen with Washington on the tip Hail Mary. They are 6-2. They've got a superstar in Jaden Daniels. They've got a coach who everyone is responding to. This is a historically legendary operation. New ownership. I cannot imagine what it means for people in the Washington area to have something like this again. It's been a long time coming, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, I live in the area. I mean, there really has been a pall over this team for a quarter of a century. And kind of when you go out there and visit with the team, I think as great as Jaden Daniels has been, I think really the greatest thing they've got going on out there is a culture change, and certainly a lot of that ties back to Dan Quinn and the person he is. Players do respond to him, like you said. I think their rookie GM Adam Peters has really done a great job kind of doing the rebuild. Certainly they hit on Jay Daniels, but I mean, they've also, I think they had more cap space than any team in free agency, Bo. They spend it judiciously. I mean, they got guys like Bobby Wagner and Austin Eckler and Dorrance Armstrong, and they weren't paying out huge contracts to anybody, but they were bringing in guys to change the culture. But they're also going to have that money available again in a few years from now. I mean, they didn't break the bank where they can really, target the guys that they really want to bring in here to supplement the ones they're drafting. But I mean, I thought that they would probably be a 7-win team this year on the way to 11 or 12 next year. But I mean, it's really taken off faster than I thought it would. I go back to Jaden Daniels, but you got to feel good about this for Washington fans who have been dealing with so many bad headlines and bad fan experiences for more than 2 decades here.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks for your time. Greatly appreciate you.
Good talking to you both. Thanks.
Always. Nate Davis, NFL at USA Today, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Dick from Dayton says, listen to The Ryan Day Show. Paul Keels and Jim Lachey join Coach every Thursday from noon to 1.
Presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan.
APCO, windows, siding, and decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan poll asks, what will be the outcome of the Crew's best-of-3 playoff series against the New York Red Bulls? Crew in 2, Red Bulls in 2, Crew in 3, Red Bulls in 3. 73% of you say the Crew are going to get it done in 2. It is a best-of-3. New York's going to host Game 2 Sunday. 21% say the Crew are going to get it done in 3, and only a smattering say the Red Bulls are going to win this series.
I wish the MLS would do like European soccer and do home and away and then goals differential and do it that way versus the 3-team playoff. But I understand in this country like a playoff, but I don't know. That would be good. I like Crew's good. They're going to win. They'll handle their business. That's what they do. Championship operation. All right, time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
A little bit of a melancholy number 1 for me. So I always do the pumpkin carving around here, and I've done it with the boys really their whole lives, and I like to complain about how they never help me. Even though I secretly enjoy doing it, and we do it together, and it's fine. So last night I had the double basketball practice. So NBC and my wife decided to carve the pumpkin. And first of all, it was great. NBC did it mostly by himself as a 12-year-old. They figured out what knife to use and all of the processes. It's a very good, very scary pumpkin. Good job out of him. The one piece of advice that I will give you, if you haven't carved yours yet and you're wanting to, cut the bottom out instead of the top, and then put the candle underneath, and then it's an easier clean that way, and it's much more stable that way as well. But that's your number 1.
So around 10 o'clock this morning, here's how a certain top-of-the-hour update anchor pronounced Penn State's backup quarterback. James Franklin said on Monday it'll be a game-time decision between Aller and sophomore Beau Pribula. Pribula is how you pronounce Pribula.
Okay.
That's how you pronounce his name. Could be starting against the Buckeyes Saturday, so just pay attention. Game time decision per James Franklin.
Allegedly. We talked about this earlier in the show, a little bit in a joking fashion, but I'm actually going to put some math behind it. So Freddie Freeman in this World Series has a slugging percentage of .1250. That means that every at-bat he is averaging 1.25 bases. You know how you can get that average down to 1 base per at-bat? Walk him every at-bat.
Freddie Freeman's got some great veneers too, doesn't he?
Yes.
I mean, that is perfect.
White
teeth.
smile.
It's really white. A little bit like Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street. Like it's really, really white. Number 2 for me. So I got wind of this last night, and my wife said, well, this is what's planning. So I've told you before that 12-year-old NBC and a couple of his buddies are dating a girl from another town. They're all dating girls from another town, all from the same town. And I'm like, they're 7, like they're 7th graders. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to hop on a scooter and scoot 12 miles? Like, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? And I even told him, I'm like, just date Sydney Sweeney. It'd be the same. You're going to see her just as much. So what they're trying to do is engineer, like, a party. And my wife goes, they're trying to like go to one of their houses with their girlfriends and hang out. And I'm like, she goes, you didn't do that in 7th grade, did you? No, I did not. Did not do that in 7th. We had parties in 7th grade for sure. Like there were Halloween parties, you go trick-or-treating. But I did have to kind of appreciate the hustle and the audacity of the thought, but also the realization of that the answer to that would be no. And to his credit, as soon as this started to escalate into a point where potentially it was a possibility, he texted the group, "My mom won't let me, so stop asking." And I went, okay. So at least he has some reality in him at some point.
If we're going to go by the way things have gone through 8 games of the Blue Jackets season, they're going to drop tomorrow's game to the New York Islanders. It'll be close. And then they're going to, on Friday, beat the Winnipeg Jets by 6 goals, or by at least 4 or 5. Right. They will score 6 goals. CBJ have won every other game this season, and in those victories, they've won with scoring 6 goals. That's the most through 8 games by this Jackets organization, 33 goals. They are, and I stole this from Jeff Swoboda, 36 goals is the most through 10 games they scored back in 2018, the 2018-2019 season. They've got 2 games to get 3 goals. I think they're going to do that. This team's a lot of fun. If you haven't been paying attention, this is what you were hoping for. This was almost best case scenario really coming into the 24-25 campaign for the CBJ.
Yeah, they're fun.
Browns fans are very inspired by the football that they watched yesterday, or 2 days ago on Sunday. No one more inspired than Twitter user good old Leroy Bickerstaff.
Hell yeah.
If y'all liked what you saw yesterday, wait till you see 4 with Dorsey calling the plays. Offense starting to click. We saw it right before 4 went down. So Deshaun Watson, you think he was the issue. It was actually Kevin Stefanski's play calling. So when Deshaun Watson returns, like a year from now, just you wait.
Leroy Bickerstaff is a hell of a name. That's a great name. Number 3 for me, I'm reached the point, my wife and I have been married 15 plus years now, been together almost 20, and I just am to the point where she doesn't know how to load a dishwasher. I've tried to show her. I take dishwasher loading very seriously to maximize the amount of space in the dishwasher. And I go this morning, I open the dishwasher, there's like knives just on the top, there's a pot and pan in there. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And she's like, if you don't like the way you do it, I'll do it. You do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll handle that too. I'll do that. I'm on it. And then that led to a fight. She's currently getting her tires changed and it's not going well, so I probably won't address this any further than right now.
It's a good job out of you on both fronts.
We'll leave it here. Yeah.
Cole had a baseball thing. I will have a baseball thing. Aaron Judge is batting horribly in the World Series.
Is he ever?
He's got 1 hit in 3 games. He's 1 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. And it's been fun to watch that because the Yankees are not in this position, the World Series, without him batting or contributing as much as he did against the Guardians. So that's something I think Yankees fans should understand. It was nauseating to watch how successful he was in clutch situations in the ALCS. This has been fun from a standpoint of bleep the Yankees. They're going to get the brooms tonight, and it'll be done.
If Juan Soto leaves that team in the offseason, that fan base is going to have a lot of question marks heading into next year. Ryan Day is going to meet with the media. That is going to take place here at the top of the hour. If you would like to hear what he has to say, guess what? Just keep it here. So Rothman and Ice, usually from 12 to 3, they will ballpark it around 12:30 to 3 whenever Ryan Day gets done from the podium.
12:28:50. That's the number.
That's what you're calling it?
Yep, I'm calling that. You got that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends are here on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Will the Yankees get swept out of the World Series? New York is actually a favorite tonight at -140 on the money line. Dodgers are +120. Freddie Freeman, a huge -1900 odds to win the MVP. See a Yankees comeback coming? You can get 13-1 on New York to win the World Series. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+, subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24, void or prohibited.
Trust Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
It's Rocktober, baby!
It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture an oil change that's quick, not rushed. When you hear the bell, feel yourself becoming light as a feather. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today. No automotive worry, no appointment needed.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
what's it like to have a yard?
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
am I ready to buy a home?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about everything you need to know when applying for a mortgage, so you can try to turn those backyard dreams into reality. Paul?
Yes?
Question. Are you a hammock person?
You know, I think I might be.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. NMLS 399797, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.